Mic check, mic check. I can't hear you guys. Mic check. Someone in the chat? Trying to avoid technical difficulties? Anyone? Anyone? You guys are getting slow on me. Oh, wake me up when someone answers me in the chat. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Whew. What a game. What a game.
And how about those Devils? How about those Devils?
How about those Devils? It feels so good. I feel like I haven't played that clip in forever. Welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. Oh, another one. It's been so long, guys. What a game. A third period gutsy rally. And I have to know. Are
you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? Your New Jersey Devils in another dogfight, looking like another goalie was going to be standing on his head in our way on this evening at the Rock. It was not meant to be for the Kings. Your New Jersey Devils dig deep and win a 3-1 hockey game over the Los Angeles Kings. And woof, woo, woo-hoo, Jackhughes, baby. Jackhughes, the franchise, just with another stellar performance, his 8th 3-point game of the season. Everyone's favorite whipping boy, Andre Palat, with a massive goal and an assist. Lots of hitting, lots of physicality. And this was one we needed badly. Game 4 of the homestand. Devils with 3 points through the first 3, going 1-1-1. And if you guys remember, heading into the 5-game homestand, I predicted and was hoping for 7 points out of 10. Given how much we've sucked at home and some of the teams we're playing, I said that 7 out of 10 would make me extremely happy. That's 700 hockey. And I thought that would be a very good outcome for the New Jersey Devils in this 5-game homestand. And Saturday, they're going to have a chance to close the road trip, the home stand out at a record. If they win, they would be 3-1-1, getting them those 7 points. So big game against a struggling Blackhawks club. Hopefully they get it done. We secure those 6th and 7th points out of the possible 10. But another one where the New Jersey Devils surrender the first goal. I mean, why wouldn't they, right? Scoreless first period. We go to the second. Jordan Spence at 16:41. A slapper that Markey should have had. Another soft goal by him. Listen, a lot of people, or namely SST, I suppose, have been trolling me about Markstrom. So far on the season, I've said he's been average, which the stats indicate. And that was a soft goal. Unfortunately, it seems like he does do acrobatic shit and make insane, level 10 saves, and then he'll let in soft ones. Kings get the 1-0 lead on a soft one that went through him, and I thought he should have had that. Unfortunate. And moments before that, actually, Jackhughes had a 2-on-1 with, I believe, Palat, and Jack was in super tight, a spot where we'd expect to see Jackie rip it, but he instead opted to go for the pass. Terrible idea. Should have shot it, and then eventually, a little while later, the Kings got that goal to go up 1-0, but it didn't take long. A couple minutes after that, 18:56, what looked originally like a Jackhughes goal. Jack making moves, rifles one, and Palat right in front where you want to see somebody, gets a deflection. His 5th of the season from Hughes and Bratt, ties it up at 18:56. The second period ends tied 1-1. And at that point, I decided to do, I didn't label it an emergency press conference or an emergency stream, but I came on and we just BS for whoever was here. Shout out to you guys that made it for that, unannounced, and was just stating the obvious that this third period was absolutely massive. A game tonight that the Devils needed to have, especially coming off of that horrific, just absolutely disgusting loss to the Maple Leafs the other night. They come out fired up, third period. At 12:58, Jackhughes, being Jackhughes, finds open ice and just rips one. Assists by Palat and Dillon at 12:58, giving the Devils the 2-1 lead. And then there was scary times. There was very scary times in the about 4 minutes or so left in the game. Devils take a penalty. Halla, while we're pinned in our own end, Halla lost the stick, picked it up, and almost right after he picked it up, he kind of went to poke check somebody, got the stick kind of in the skates, tripped him up, and took the penalty. Oh, my God. Thank you so much for reminding me, guys. Win or lose, we booze. I was so excited. I had a drink before. Win or lose, we booze. Tonight, we're going with the Dirty Devil vodka, the official vodka of the great Martin Brodeur. Smooth as hell. How could I forget? Shame on me, guys. I had a nice little victory beverage before. Tonight, we're sipping on victory vodka. I'm just so jacked up by the win. It's been so long. I'm all out of sorts. That third period had me pounding a little bit, going with the little Red Bull. But cheers to you all. Oh, God. Cheers to you guys. Win or lose, we booze. Victory drinks always taste better than loser drinks. And what a game. What an absolute beautiful game. Devils up 2-1. Like I said, take that penalty late. And I was heart palpitating. Full palpitations. And by the grace of Jackhughes being an absolute threat on the penalty kill, Jackie out there on the PK comes in with some speed. Everyone's like, oh shit, here comes Jack. Goes to take a shot, gets blocked in front, comes back out. Pesce trailing behind and buries it for the shorty at 17-17. The dagger in the heart of the LA Kings. Devils take the 3-1 lead. Pesce's first goal as a New Jersey Devil. And wow, Jackie with the assist there. Devils take the 3-1 lead, and that is all she wrote. Unfortunately, we were sniffing around the empty net, but cheers to you guys. Sniffing around the empty net. Couldn't had a couple chances, couldn't get anything, deposited into that empty net, which I thought was unfortunate. I would have liked to see us get another one, but Devils win 3-1. And another very, very good defensive outing for your New Jersey Devils. We look at the game stats. Kings with 13 shots on goal, Devils with 26. Kings 56% of the faceoffs, the Devils 44%. Kings 0 for 1 on the power play, Devils 0 for 1 on the power play. Someone referenced in the live I did between the second and third that the refs were letting them play, and they certainly were. Lots of chippiness, lots of behind the play stuff, and the refs let them play. Your boy, Neanderthal hockey, old school throwback hockey. I'd love to see it. As long as no one does anything crazy, let them play. And tonight played like a playoff game. It really did. Kings with 18 hits, Devils with 27 hits. Kings with 20 block shots, Devils with 16 block shots. Kings with 20 giveaways, Devils with 15 giveaways. Kings 7 takeaways, and the Devils 4 takeaways. And another one where we see 16 block shots plus 27 hits equals 43. And another game where you get that combined number over 40. W for win. Beautiful win by your New Jersey Devils. I am super jacked. This was a massive game, I believe. Obviously for the standings, but also just for the team morale, team psyche. Coming off that game, can't feel good. So many chances. We played so well. Stole the game. And obviously for the first, 40 minutes of this one, it seemed like it could have been another one of the same. It really looked like, we were going to be, I don't want to be negative, but I was like, I can't do another live with all the negativity in the chat and these people talking about how Markstrom's terrible and this team sucks and this, that, and the other thing. Glad that wasn't the case. Third period, the boys turn it on when it matters most. Franchise players doing franchise player things. Jackie boy coming up massive. Your New Jersey Devils win 3-1. A massive game. And let's just see. Did they update this yet? Just take a little look at the standings. Devils inching closer to the Canes as far as points percentage go. Capitals at a ridiculous 750 points percentage. I mean, my God, it's ridiculous. They're 26-2. Wow. 750 points percentage. Canes at 661 and your New Jersey Devils at 641. The Rangers just falling by the wayside here at a 554. Love to see it, but wow. Huge game. Huge night for your New Jersey Devils. Let me just check my notes. I forgot. I got all excited. I forgot to do the booze. Oh, obviously before the game, I just skipped all over everything. Tomas Tatar out of the lineup. Insert the toughest man in the National, Curtis McDermott. You guys know on this channel, I love Curtis McDermott. Love the man, love what he brings. And there's something, too, for all the people who had hated on the signing of McDermott, question why he's in the lineup when he is. For whatever reason, there is a real Big Mac effect. I got to now pull it later. When I do my recap video for tomorrow morning, I'll make sure to have all this in there because I didn't have time to pull it all. But the Devils have a very good record with Curtis McDermott in the lineup, and there's something to be said for that. Whether you say it's blind luck, coincidence, I don't really care. When he's in the lineup, other teams play differently because when you see that man either on the bench or on the ice, you think to yourself, I better not do that cheap stuff because if I do, this complete Sasquatch is going to come over here and break my face. The man is an absolute freak of nature, and no one wants to deal with that. And teams play accordingly. I hope we see McDermott the next game. He's been out for a while. I've been talking about him for a while, but heavier, edgier, more violent. Curtis McDermott is a huge piece of the new identity New Jersey Devils, and it rubs off on other guys. They feel safer with him in the lineup. Danico months ago said, when you have a guy like Curtis McDermott in the lineup, every player feels 2 inches taller and 10 to 15 pounds heavier. There's something to be said for that. The record speaks for itself. President of the Curtis McDermott fan club, your boy Ace, loves McDermott. And another game, he's in the lineup, and another game we win. I'm going to see here. McDermott had a big timely clear in the first period, a couple hits. Wow. Just what a game. What a game. You'd love to see these types of outings. Markstrom, outside of the soft goal, had a solid outing in very limited action. A couple big saves when it mattered. Well, what was the final? Did they change this here? Let me just see. A lot of times after the game, the stats will update slightly when they'll go back and, edit something. Yeah, so Markey making 12 saves on 13 shots. And wow. Wow. Oh, wow. An exhilarating win. And now this game on Saturday is a big one. It is a big one. How many points will they finish with out of the 10 possible on the 5-game homestand? Got to close it out with a win. That put us at 7 out of 10. That is a very successful 5-game homestand for sure. A very successful 5-game homestand for your New Jersey Devils. This hat is getting itchy. Switch it up. Hat's a little itchy. All right. Let's see what you guys are talking. Insane Pollock. Finally, a Jersey guy did not get the best of us tonight. Yeah, thank God. We've been haunted by goalies. It looked like we were on our way to another, goaltending performance of the ages by the opposition, but we got through in the third when it mattered, and your New Jersey Devils get a huge victory. Big Macs for Big Mac tomorrow. Love me some Curtis McDermott. Jay Snow, someone from Calgary wrote an article on Markstrom saying he struggles when he doesn't see a lot of shots. He gets stronger when facing more rubber. I mean, I could see something to that. In some of the games where we saw lots of rubber, he did play better. There definitely could be something to that. Like I said before, I think goalies are creatures of rhythm, and that's also why I'd like to see him get a nice little string of games without interrupted by random starts by other goalies, namely Jake Allen. But it is what it is. Hopefully, whoever's in net, I mean, if Allen doesn't come back, and even if he does skate tomorrow, are they really going to rush him back? I mean, it's interesting to see if they go back to Markstrom on Saturday or if Poulter's still up, if we see the NHL debut of young Isaac Poulter. Walt, see what happens when you put Big Mac in the lineup. Oh, man. Absolutely love to see my man Curtis McDermott out there. Max needs 7 points in the homestand. I'll take 7 out of 10. Got to have Chicago. Couldn't agree more. Going into it, I said 7 is the mark they got to shoot for. I predicted that they would land on 7, and hopefully they make me prophetic once again and deliver another big W in front of the home crowd on Saturday against the Blackhawks. Traveling Devil, what's going on? It always takes Markstrom a period to get going, it seems. Yeah, a little bit of a slow starter. We saw that stretch where he gave up a goal on the first shot against 3 consecutive games. Very troubling trend that luckily we're out of. And then it actually happened to Allen a couple games later. Cape Dweller, good to see Palat with points in 2 straight. Yeah, Palat's starting to heat up. And I mean, listen, that backhand pass through traffic to Jack was a complete veteran skill play. A lot of guys on the team probably wouldn't have got that puck there. And before the game, or maybe it was this morning, I don't remember, but Sheldon Keefe had said something along the lines of, Palat is able to get Jack and Jesper Bratt the puck in spots where maybe some other guys would have chipped it ahead or, dumped it, made a simpler play and not tried to make something out of nothing per se. And not that that was a nothing play, but, a lot of guys in that spot that Palat was in wouldn't have been able to thread that pass. Beautiful pass by Palat. Brian J., stop talking shit on Markey. It was a soft goal. The guy's given up 2 goals in regulation the last 2 games and are still unhappy. Remember last year, for God's sake. I'm not talking smack on him. It was a soft goal. But we got the win, and he made the saves when it mattered most, and I'm not talking smack. A lot of people are. But this is a massive improvement over last year's goaltending, obviously. It's night and day. Ted 1776, I was not at the game, sir. This one I was watching from the comfort of my own home, and the vibe on my sofa was phenomenal in that third period. Yeah, Merce ate that shit. Yeah, I think he took a puck to the face. I think someone said he had stitches. I've been meaning to see if there's any update on that, but we'll see tomorrow. It'll probably be like Dawson Mercer day-to-day, upper body injury. The insane Pollock, something Mark needs to work on. Stefan looking like his Achilles heel. Defenseman go down to block the shot, and he's slow on closing the 5-hole. Could be something to that. Mark, I live in LA, but couldn't watch because of blackout games. Did McD come back? I do not think he did. I do not think he did. And, again, I expect maybe tomorrow morning we see a report of another day-to-day and a lower body injury. So you're going to get something very generic. New Jersey Devils, injury reports. Very, very, very vague. Alex, Ace, do you drink more from a victory or a loss? Any difference? It depends. I think I probably drink more during the tight games. Sometimes they go down quick mid-game. But it really just depends. James Cooper, another win with McDermott. Cape Dweller, first victory against Rittich. Matt, what's the Devils' record when they hit that 40 mark on hits and block shots? So I've been meaning to compile that. Obviously, that's a stat I have to manually go through and pull. Let me jot that down in my phone. I will put that in Devils' record when number block shots and hits. I'd imagine they probably haven't lost too many games when they hit that number. Jason Seville, I definitely feel great now. We finally got a win. In the process, we had a huge third period, especially a lucky shorthanded goal. Of course, I saw an impressive 5-hole. I don't think it was lucky. That was a beautiful play, spearheaded by number 86, one of the most skilled players in the game, Jackhughes. And as far as we finally got a win, it is funny. We lose 2 games in a row, and people are like, oh, my God, like we haven't won in 10 years. I hope we never see an extended losing streak. Like the Rangers were on a 6-game one. I can't imagine what this chat was. I don't even want to imagine what the chats would look like if the Devils lost 6 games in a row. It would be just completely unbearable. Leo says it was loud. Maria D, what's going on? Just got back. Awesome playoff type game. Dermy in the lineup. Love Jackie on the PK. Agreed across the board. It definitely seemed like a playoff game on the ice the way it played. I love Curtis McDermott, and then obviously Jackhughes on the PK, bringing a new element to it. Not only is his kind of speed and vision and overall hockey sense utilized in the shorthanded situation, but it also forces teams to react a little differently because now not only is he out there to kill the penalty, but he could try to put one in the back of your net, and he almost did before Pesci, followed up that rebound there in the third. But wow, Jackhughes trying to become the all-situational type player, and you'd love to see that as well for Jack. Big Mac for Big Mac sounds better than Arena Taylor Hams. Max, this win was almost frustrating. They can play unreal hockey when they want to, even during a scoring drought. Held 2 top teams in the league under 30 shots combined. Yeah, wild. And I will say, those type of statistics and those type of team kind of goals, the way they're limiting the shots, it reminds me, I'm not going to say it's quite it, but it is very reminiscent of the dynasty year New Jersey Devils. Very reminiscent of that team, and that was a signature thing of those teams, really. Great goaltending, very good defense. A lot of games, Marty would face 20 shots or less, And you're starting to see that become a thing kind of in the Devils fold where, okay, you guys want to, clog up the neutral zone and kind of make us play this other kind of game. We can adapt to that and play these more defensive kind of matchups. And anytime you could keep it under, 20 shots, obviously your chances of winning the hockey game are severely increased. And especially when you have a decent goaltending, at least. And I know some of you, are never going to give Markstrom credit. It is what it is. But very, very reminiscent to me of those teams. JD, I'm old. I've seen a lot of Devils hockey going back to when they were the Rockies. Jack is the best forward in franchise history. Yeah, I mean, definitely most skilled. And I guess if you're going on a season by season basis, I could accept the best forward title. A lot of times when I hear that, I think of, if you're talking about best, do you mean like, career? Or if you're just talking about on a season by season basis, I agree with you. In terms of like best career, obviously he has a ways to go. But on a one season by one season basis, I would agree that 86 is the best forward in Devils history. And when he's on, he is just filthy. I mean, tonight was his 8th game with 3 points on the season. I mean, wow. And St. Pollock, we were definitely heavier, edgier, more violent tonight. Yeah, you love to see it. They got to embrace this type of game more. I can't for the life of me figure out why it seems like some games they just like turn the physicality switch off. It's kind of bizarre and it's a little irritating at times because, I'm a heavier, edgier, more violent guy. Like I said, throwback. I love the physicality. I believe, based on years of watching the sport and seeing what other teams have done, that it does matter and you do need to embrace that to win. It just seems like some nights the guys aren't into it. And I don't know. There's really no, it's just weird. It's like the tale of two teams sometimes. But when they play that kind of game, it seems like we are at our best. Tonight, they're heavier, edgier, more violent. Shots against at a minimum. And they capitalized on some of their chances and you win the game. And that's the playoffs are going to be, a lot of them are going to be just like this. They're not going to be these high-flying pond hockey games. They're going to be the games like tonight where you got to kind of grind out a win. Mark, Capitals won't go away, and that's crazy, man. It is absolutely crazy that they're playing at this level through, the amount of games they've played. To be playing 750 hockey, I mean, you can't find bets like that in Vegas per se, but if you could somehow create your own bet and it was like, Capitals to be playing 700 plus hockey into December, the odds would have been astronomical. Let's get some rock and roll part 2 going. Crowd. Tonight they actually played physical. Yep. And they got, I wish they would just do it every game. I think it's a hard thing to do, I guess, to get the team to do it all the time. I don't know why. They play it. Some games you see it right away, and some games you're like, what the hell are we doing? But when they play that game, boy, the Devils are a tough team to beat. Troy Machine ruined the Panthers win streak, ruined the Kings 6-game win streak. Yep. Kings had won 6 in a row coming into tonight, and it's over. The streak for them died at the hands of your New Jersey Devils. Devin G, that shirtless dude won that pen shot for us. I have no idea what that is. Well, also goal support. They played hard just like they did against Toronto, but tonight got the puck luck they lacked Tuesday night. Markey got the job done, and goal support made the difference. Yeah. For sure. Tied up going into the third. Scary, scary times. Traveling Devil, Jack needs some cups before he's the best forward, but I feel, yeah, I mean, again, if we're talking skill on a one-to-one basis, fully agree. But in terms of a career, got a ways to go. JD, Traveling Devil, love Patty, but this is next level. Whoa, wait a minute. I think Patty, we're talking about more long-term, obviously. But Patty, I can't even get to, listen, I love Jack, right? But when you start making comparisons, like skill-wise, I'll give it to him. Most skilled forward I think we've ever had. But when you start comparing him to a guy like Patty Elias, I mean, you got to really cut your teeth and really do some things to get on that level, because Patty was just a phenomenal player for so many years, instrumental in 2 cup wins. And thank you. We got a super chat, the 5-star. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. And he says, or she, not to be sexist. He or she says Kovalchuk or I'm supposed to say Mogilny. It's funny, my buddy, or Mogilny, he wrote Mogilny by accident, are better than Jack, then throw in Eliash. My buddy used to always play with the Sabres on NHL 94, and he would call him Mogilny. And I'd always correct him. I'm like, it's Mogilny. But he would get that dyslexia and put Mogilny. But Kovalchuk or Mogilny are better than Jack, then throw in Eliash. I have to disagree. But I will say, if you're trying to make the debate, those are the two of the guys that come to mind that you would say, are in the conversation. Other than Eliash, I think you picked two great guys. We had a couple of seasons of Ilya Kovalchuk, which was just absolutely electric. I completely freaked out when the trade was announced when the Devils got him. I loved Kovalchuk and Heatley when they were together in Atlanta. They were, two of my favorite non-Devils in the league at the time. And I remember just seeing the freak that was Covey flying up and down the ice, breakaways, crushing one-timers, just an absolute beast of a man. He was a huge dude. I always liked Covey. I freaked out when we got him. And then obviously Mogilny was a legend in his own right before the Devils got him as well. And he was part of that magical 2000 Stanley Cup team. Actually, I want to see something now that you brought this up. I can't remember how many. Let's see what his point totals were as a Devil. His best careers came prior to him being a Devil. But yeah, so we got him at the deadline in 2000. He had 6 points in 12 regular season games. Then the following season, one of the most heartbreaking seasons in New Jersey Devils history, the 2000 and 2001 season that saw your New Jersey Devils lose in a heartbreaking Game 7 of the Cup Finals to Patrick Roy and the Avalanche after leading the series 3-2 with a chance to win the Cup at home in Game 6 at Continental Airlines Arena. Your boy Ace was there. Many of you were probably there. And a heartbreaking loss. Devils go back out to Denver for Game 7 and lose the series. Absolutely disgusting, but that 2000-2001 Devils team was just loaded. And in 75 games, Mogilny had 40 goals and in 75 games had 43 goals and 40 assists for 83 points. Wow. Monster season, but Mogilny definitely an all-time great. I don't know why he is not in the Hall of Fame or if he ever gets in. But I can accept the arguments. Those are some great players, obviously, that, Jack is being mentioned with in terms of, all-time great offensive talents for your New Jersey Devils. But I have to give the notch to Jack just because when he's on, man, he can take over games. And to have, 8 at this juncture of the season, we're not even halfway through yet. We're a little over a third of the season. And to have 8 3-point games is just filthy. Absolutely filthy. But interesting. I do like Kovalchuk and Mogilny a lot in terms of, players over the years. And I'm curious, the 5-star, the 5, however you say this, by any chance are you Russian? I'm just asking. Because the two guys you mentioned are Russian. I got to ask. Is there a Russian bias? Is there a Russian bias at play here? Let me see where we're at. Still need to have McDermott to protect guys out there. Yeah, you guys already know I'm beating the drum here, but Curtis McDermott, the toughest man in the National. Love to see him in there, and I hope he's in there. I wanted to see him get a fight tonight. I really did. I thought he was going to try to get one, kind of spark the boys, but I guess the opportunity didn't present itself. What's going on, Mary? Exciting win. Absolutely an exciting win, Mary. One of the biggest wins of the season, in my opinion, given how we played that last game. Coming into this one, tied through 2, looked like another goalie superstar performance. And your New Jersey Devils, Mary, go out there and make it happen in the third. Oh, man, SST. Devils had a very good record with Vanacek, too, last season. Next! Jason, a really good defensive effort. Plus, Markstrom secured us this much-needed victory. I definitely remember great defensive hits on opponents by number 4, Scott Stevens. Oh, and did Scotty ever make the hits? The highlight reel hits of Scott Stevens just separating other players from their souls. Can't talk about the importance and the greatness of the great number 4, Scott Stevens, enough. I can't imagine being another forward forward on another team coming down the wing or something, knowing that Scott Stevens was lurking in the shadows on the blue line. Absolutely petrifying nightmare fuel stuff. For Devil, I would still love to see a Big Mac on a bullshit PP set up camp in front of the goal. Just curious. Well, For Devil, I hate to break your heart, but don't hold your breath because that ain't never happening. You will never see Curtis McDermott on a power play. Richard, I nearly died when they gave the Kings a penalty shot. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that, too. I talked about that on the live earlier. I thought it was a BS call. Usually you don't see that unless – hold on, let me see now. I meant to pull it up before, and I forgot. I was running all over the place. I want to pull up the exact verbatim, what the criteria is. Because he did get off a shot. I just thought it was going to be a 2-minute minor. The NHL sucks. You can't even find it easily. Yeah, so the criteria are the player, a penalty shot will be awarded for the following acts. When a player is fouled while on a breakaway and the situation meets the following 5 criteria, meaning all 5, the puck carrier is in the neutral or attacking zone. Check. He was. The puck carrier has possession and control of the puck. Check. 2 for 2. He was. The puck carrier has no other opposing players to pass other than the goaltender. 3 for 3. The puck carrier is tripped or fouled from behind or fouled by the goaltender. 4 for 4. And now the fifth kind of tenet of the criteria is where I have issue, and it says the puck carrier must be denied a reasonable scoring opportunity. I don't believe he was denied a reasonable scoring opportunity because he got the shot off. That's why I thought it should have just been a 2-minute minor. He got the shot off, so he wasn't denied a reasonable scoring opportunity because in the end, he still could have scored there. In the end, I thought it would be a 2-minute minor. They gave the penalty shot, and in the end, maybe that was in our best interest because he missed the net. Who knows what would have happened on the power play. Ryan, Bass has looked good the last past 2 games. Shockingly, must be the bubble effect. Could be. He's playing with the bubble. He rocked a couple guys tonight, I saw. Let's take a look. I don't want to forget to give those guys props. Bastion with 3 hits on the night. Stefan Nason with a block and a hit. Nicohischier with 2 blocks and 2 hits. Palat with 2 blocks. What a night for Palat. A goal and an assist for 2 points, a +2, and 2 blocks. Wow. Curtis McDermott with 2 hits. Paulie Cotter with 4 hits. Holla with a block and 4 hits. 2 hits apiece for Dylan, Hamilton, Kovacevic. 2 blocks and 2 hits for Dougie on the evening. And the same for Kovacevic. 2 and 2. Stats of winners, baby. Put your body on the line. Eat some rubber. Crush a man into the glass. Oh, and Siegenthaler, 2 blocks and 2 hits. 3 defensemen with 2 apiece in those golden categories on this fine evening. What a great game. Devin G. Poulter, Saturday. Again, with this coaching staff, with this tandem goalie era that we live in, your guess is as good as mine. If I had to bet on it, I would think they go back to Markstrom. But, the way they handle these goaltenders as if they're going to fall apart from playing too much, I wouldn't be surprised by anything. I'm curious to know. I do think how long Allen is going to be unavailable for does have an impact on that, because if they know Allen is out for another week or so, then, their analytics math nerds are going to be like, we need to rest Markstrom. He's going to fall apart and die if we don't. So at that point, if they know the Allen start is not coming anytime soon, their incessant need to rest Markstrom for God knows what reason, I guess because the charts and pie graphs told them to, I do believe it would be as good of a time as ever because of the Blackhawks struggles, it would probably make the most sense to have Isaac Poulter make his NHL debut, in fact, on Saturday against the Hawks. Very curious, but again, I think that really is dependent on when they anticipate Allen being available again. But I do think it's a 50-50. Winnie, MacD in and we win. Not all the time, but more times than not. I gotta pull that record for later. The Devils record with Curtis McDermott in the lineup. Kevin Curtis in the lineup, awesome to see. Love Curtis. And let me get a sip of my drink. Oh boy. Now here we go. Woodson. Got the W, but let's be real. We have one line that can score. Thanks to Palat hustling to complete that line, Mercer and Haller are hurting their lines. Oh, boy. I have no words. We have one line that can score. Come on, man. We got a shorty tonight. A shorty. Is play Poulter versus the Hawks? Numbnuts has entered the chat. Our depth scoring is killing us. Cotter hasn't scored a goal in a month, so it's actually he hasn't had a point in a month, I believe. Jay Snow. And the reality is he was buried on the fourth line before Keefe tried to shake it up. And yeah, I would have expected more production from him as a fourth liner, but with the guys he's been playing with, I'm not really surprised. I do think, like every other player in the history of the planet, essentially, when you get more minutes and play with better players on higher lines, you will produce more. Paul Cotter is not, invincible to that fact. And hopefully, as time goes on, he starts to heat up again. But if you look, goal scoring for the past week or so, Devils don't have a ton. And hopefully, he picks up again. He started off the season red hot. Obviously, it wasn't sustainable for the season. But then he kind of went into a long cold spell, I suppose. I think it's fair to say a month. I mean, yeah. So he definitely needs to get on the score sheet as well as some of the other guys in the bottom six. Diego, good game. Let's go, Devils. KT, 32 likes. Unacceptable. Let's hit that like button, guys. Wow, that is unacceptable, guys. Come on. Smash one for your boy. Thumbs up. Let's go. Let me get the like, please. Please. Cyril, Markstrom needs to be warmed up between periods in games like this in the Toronto one. Maybe there's something to that. Someone pointed out earlier that someone from Calgary said he's at his best when he sees a lot of action, and when he doesn't see a lot of action, he struggles a little bit. And maybe there's something to that. Jason, just to think how bad our depth scoring has been. We played 32 games, Hall of 5 goals, Tatar 3 goals, Mercer 6, Plot 5, Seamus Casey 8 games, 3 goals. Man, I love Seamus Casey. Absolutely love Seamus Casey. And he will be a New Jersey Devil at some point. He will be a New Jersey Devil at some point. The question is when. And unfortunately, again, the defense is so deep, so incredibly deep on the blue line are your New Jersey Devils that a freakish talent like him has to go develop in the AHL because we just have so many guys. I mean, shout out to Johnny Kovacevic, because if he wasn't stolen by Fitz this summer, I think you'd probably be seeing, I guess it would be a big decision for the coaching staff to pick between Nemitz and Seamus Casey for that last spot. But I would think Casey would have the edge. And St. Pollock, I thought Poulter came in relief one game. No, he played a preseason game, but he's only been on the bench for a few NHL games. He never got in. Traveling Devil, happy to see Pesce get his first goal tonight. Absolutely. The defensive stalwart that is Brendan Pesce getting on the score sheet tonight with his first as a Devil. Oh, boy. Dougie is an absolute bum on defense. He doesn't even care to try. Kova, on the other hand, is all over the ice. Is it able to trade Siegs and keep Kova at a similar salary? Got to try. I wouldn't try to trade Siegs at this point. He's turned it around with Kovacevic, and I'm trying to keep Kovacevic at all costs. I've talked about this in previous videos. Kovacevic has been an absolute freak for the Devils. Fitzy stole him. The problem is he is going to get a career payday as an unrestricted free agent this summer. 27, 28 years old, prime of his career, a right-handed shot, a heavier, edgier, more violent defenseman, teams will be lining up and blowing up his agent's phone to try to secure him this summer. And I'm hoping he loves New Jersey and wants to stay here because I would hate to lose him. I don't know that there's any other player in quite some time or maybe ever that I've fallen so in love with so quickly as a new player. Yeah, he's been absolutely incredible for the Devils. And again, aside from the salary cap issues, there is the issue of, essentially if we go into next season with the same defense, right? It's like, then you still have Seamus Casey and Shimo Nemitz, in the AHL, which I would imagine is not ideal for either one of them or the franchise. And I do think if, looking ahead, if it's, and the powers that be want to or plan to try to keep Kovacevic, then maybe, Shimo Nemitz is showcased as a major trade piece for this Devils club at the deadline or possibly even in the summer leading up to the draft or maybe even after it. You never know. But it just seems like now a lot of defensemen and not enough spots. And so where do you look? And it seems like the most logical one would be, if Kovacevic is to stay, then do you move someone else out to make space for Casey and or Nemitz? I mean, there's no way both of them outside of something crazy. I don't see how they both would be on the team next year. Thank you, Brendan. Appreciate you, sir. Brendan with the super chat. Defense wins championships. Let's go Devils. Everyone remember what Chico has said in the past. They are human beings, not robots. Mistakes happen. Thank you very much, Brendan. Appreciate it. Defense obviously wins championships. All three of the Devils Cup teams. Stellar defense. Excellent goaltending by the great Martin Brodeur. And the defensive cores that we had on all three of those teams, starting with the two Hall of Famers, the Scotts, Scott Stevens, the hardest hitting, most ferocious, fearsome captain in NHL history, along with one of the smoothest skating, baddest mothers ever to play the game in Scott Niedermayer. Two absolute legends. And then Kenny Danico, the quintessential tough guy, stay-at-home defenseman, clear out the crease, smash guys in the corners, drop the gloves when they needed. Man, the Dynasty Devils were beautiful. What a beautiful, beautiful core group we had for all those years. So spoiled. And Doc and Chico in the booth. And these legends on the ice. Whew. And they are human beings, not robots. Shit happens. I am ecstatic with the improvement we've seen in this year's team. And the sky is the limit, despite what people like John Woodson and SST, or maybe they're the same person, say. Jason, I definitely would have attended at least one of the home games at the Rock sometime in the springtime. I would have taken a vacation and a trip to Six Flags Great Adventure plus a Devils home game. I mean, that's definitely maximizing your New Jersey experience for sure. For sure. Pesci goal was amazing. Love to see that. Yeah, it was. Offense from unexpected sources are always some of the best goals, right? Like who was waiting for, I haven't been sitting here like, when's Pesci going to score? And Jackie Boy leading the charge out there on the PK. Absolutely beautiful. Traveling Devil. The Palat pass to Jack was a beauty. Oh, it was. Through traffic, backhanded beautifully across, right there in the wheelhouse. And Jack puts it home. Aaron, celebrating with some brownie Alamoto ice cream with whipped cream on top. Let's go Devils. Yeah, I got to try to stay away from the ice cream. I've been crushing Ben & Jerry's pints like it's my job lately. Terrible. They go down so easy. I feel like as I get older, they go down easier. It's like, oh, you open the Ben & Jerry's and watching TV or the game, and I'm like, 4 minutes later, I'm like, oh my God, I trucked that entire thing. Super chat from Marshall. Salute, sir. Thank you very much. Big dub tonight, boys. Next drink on me, Ace. Appreciate you, Marshall. An absolute massive win for your New Jersey Devils. A stressful one. It can never be easy. Had the 1-goal lead. Take the penalty late, and I'm like sitting there on my couch. I'm like, please no. Not only do I want to win the game badly, I think about coming here now. This is just, part of my Devils routine is now to come talk to all you guys. And after the losses lately, It's been brutal. I'm just taking knife wounds everywhere, just fending off the haters. Shout out to those of you on the front lines with me who are out here fighting the haters after every bad game as well. But a bad game tonight coming off of the Toronto game, it would have been completely unbearable. I don't know if I would have been able to get through it, to be honest. It would have really been something terrible. Absolutely terrible. Devin, Kovacevic and Siegs, what a pair. Yeah, what a pair indeed. And, I've come clean. I've said my apologies. A lot of us were down on Siegenthaler last year. He was injured, whatever it was, had a bad season. A lot of people were ready to ship him out, as was I. And with Kovacevic, he's looking like a new dude out there. And I would find no reason to move on from them as a pairing. And that's why I'm trying to keep Kovacevic at all costs. And quite honestly, I love the defensive pairings. Pesci and Luke are becoming a shutdown pair. I forget what their stats were, but I showed them a few games ago. I mean, amazing analytics on them in terms of goals expected against them per 60 minutes, as is the pairing Kovacevic and Siegenthaler. And Dougie and Dillon I like as well. Love me some Brendan Dillon. Brendan Dillon's an absolute character. Love that guy. He drills people. He plays his balls off every night. And yeah, if somehow, if that Kovacevic thing this summer, it's going to break my heart if we lose him. It really will. It really will, because he has just been an absolute treat for this New Jersey Devils club. And he's part of the heavier, edgier, more violent group, which I think, especially on defense, you need. And in the playoff Kovacevic is going to be exciting to watch as well. But I definitely, try to find a way, if I'm Fitz, to keep him around. Like I said, the two big deterrents are obviously what he's going to get paid, which he's going to get a crazy contract. And do they want to just now, turn the page and bring one of the young kids into the lineup, whether that's Nemitz or Casey going forward? But I love the group as is. And honestly, I would try to keep Kovacevic at all costs and go into battle next year with the same pairings, because so far I honestly love the group as a whole. I've told you guys this for months, even back in the summer when Fitz made all the signings and trades. I was like, on paper, I love this team. The product hit the ice, and I love them even more than I did on paper. Absolutely in love with this team. Haven't been this pumped to watch regular season games in years. And I just have a good feeling about this team. I really do. And it's still super early. They're going to get better and better. Richard Tompkins, if the Devils lost 6 in a row, it would be complete anarchy in here. Oh, God. It would be completely, it'd be unbearable. Really, there's no other way to put it. The 5-star Covey is good for a 4th rounder. Thank you, Fitz. That's a steal. A complete steal. What an absolute steal. One of his biggest fleecings, if not the biggest. For Devils, some were starting to tighten the noose after a 2-game losing streak. Absolutely. The amount of people, again, if we were like the Rangers and went on a 6-game skid, like fine, and you're where you are in the standings with the expectations you had going into the season and their hot start, then it makes sense, right? But coming off the season we had last year, to bring in all these guys and to come out with the start we did. Yeah, we had that one little rough patch. We'd lose 3 games in a row or whatever it was. And then we had a couple other little slides. But to be playing at a 640 points percentage and be firmly in 3rd place as far as points percentage in the division with only a few teams better in the entire Eastern Conference, I mean, what the hell more do you guys want? And yeah, teams lose. And one of the losses was in overtime where we at least got a point. And you would have thought that we were a basement dweller. Reading the comments and some of the shit people were saying, it's pretty wild, but you got to stay even keeled on this thing. Long season, plenty of hockey to go. Blackatron, hey, what's going on? Wolf Rockin' 74, what's up, Ace? Big Mac in the lineup, heavier, edgier, more violent, finally beat LA. I love it. Let's go Devils. Yeah, there's a Big Mac effect. The Big Mac effect is real, and you'd love to see it. Hopefully he's not hurt. I had mentioned earlier, one of my buddies at the game said after one of the hits, I believe in the second period, that he left the bench. I don't think he returned. John Woodson, if only we knew Covey was going to be this good, we couldn't have held off. I guess we could have held off signing a second D-man and spent it on a top 6. I agree, but who, the thing is, you can make that argument, right? Hindsight's 2020. No one would have expected. Kovacevic was a depth defensive signing, or trade rather. We traded him for depth, and he had a great camp, great preseason, and kicked the door down. And with the injuries to Luke and Pesci, he found his way on this roster, and he's played his way firmly onto it. But, if you obviously we had a crystal ball and knew he was going to be this legit, maybe we wouldn't have signed a second defenseman. But then I ask you, John Woodson, if you could go back in time knowing that Kovacevic is this good, who do you not sign? Are you not signing Pesce? Or are you not signing Dylan? I'm curious to hear your answer to that, John Woodson. Resting guitar face. It's real sad seeing the Rangers completely fall to pieces. Look at me crying. I'm like crying so much. Ignore the laughter. I always enjoy seeing the Rangers struggle. I mean, that's just human nature, right? Why wouldn't we? They are just... Max, Cotter's a freaking animal. Saw him mouth at Fiala. You're going to fucking pay after that tabletop. Nice. I missed that. I would have loved to see that. Max, agree or disagree? Bass has looked pretty good in his return to this point. Agree. Ace, are you edging us with Rock and Roll Part 2? All Bastion has to do is be a human wrecking ball, and I'll be happy. Yeah, and he looked like it tonight. JP, true, they got beat up versus Toronto, no response. Definitely a rugged defense for our Devils club in order to achieve a victory, even against one of the top opponents of the NHL, plus some great standing hits. We're talking Hudson Falls. Alex, 33 legs. Come on, Devils. Come on, Devils. Let up the same shots in 2 games. Can your boy get a thumbs up? Can your boy just get a click thumbs up? Thank you. How old is Kopitar? I feel like that guy's been playing since the 90s. He hasn't been playing since the 90s, but I believe he's 37. Another guy who's been so good for so long. Anze Kopitar, and in his old age is putting up crazy numbers too. Some of these guys don't age. He's one of these like ageless wonders like Sidney Crosby. Yeah, he's 37 and he's over a point per game right now. He has 8 goals and 24 assists for 32 points in 29 games. Legend. Yeah, this guy this guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer. 1,402 games played, 427 goals, 816 assists, 1,243 points. And maybe he's not a first ballot. I think he definitely gets in. He's probably, unfortunately, going to fall short of the 500 goal mark, which a lot of the people on the committee definitely like. Mark, I did not see your trivia question. Let me know. Was yours, who has Jack not scored against? I'd imagine it has to be a West Coast team. Who has Jack not scored against? Who has he not scored against? It has to be West Coast. I feel like he scored against the Kraken, but that would be my guess just because of how young of a team they are. I'd probably guess the Kraken. Wyatt just got home from the Rock. Great energy on the hits tonight. Let's go Devils. Yeah, Wyatt. Heavier, edgier, more violent. Oh, speaking of, let me see something. Yeah, when we get that hits plus block shots over 40, the record is very good. The record is very good, but heavier, edgier, more violent. I don't have it on myself right now, but winter hats, fully embroidered, no print on or screen print, fully embroidered, heavier, edgier, more violent on the front of the hat, and then bam on the back, the running with the Devils logo, real nice and embroidered on there. Keep your heads warm during the Jersey cold. I'll drop the link in the chat box there for that to get your heavier, edgier, more violent winter hat. Blackatron, still too early to tell in my opinion. Jack, F the Caps, cakewalk schedule so far. I highly doubt they keep up their level of play into the new year and later. They're a good team, but they're performing at an unsustainable rate right now. I mean, you would think, but 750. I mean, what are they going to finish the season at? It's crazy. And without the grade 8, without Alex Ovechkin, I mean, wow. Yo Snand? Is that Yo Snand?
And how about those Devils?
How about those Devils, Yo Snand? Jack, every time I check ESPN in the Caps game, they're playing the Pens or Habs or some shit. I mean, listen, you can only beat who's in front of you, right? Covey is better than Hughes. Interesting. Jack would be able to do what he does 20 years ago. Hard to compare. Great photo, by the way, of Timo and Jesper Bratt before the Stadium Series drinking their espressos. It's hilarious. Alex, I think Hughes is better, and I'm a Covey guy. Covey had the shot and grip, but overall, I'd take Jack. Jeff, Elias was a complete 200-foot player. Would have had more points if not a Lou Lamoriello soldier. Listen, Jeff, smart guys, as you know, smart players bought in because Lou Lamoriello had one goal. And you know what that goal was? Every single season, my man Lou Lamoriello said, we must win the cup this year. And it didn't work all the time. And that was probably to his detriment later on in his tenure as New Jersey Devils general manager. But you know what? 3 Stanley Cup Championship teams in 9 years, and it was an absolute era. Jim Bean, Devils were pinching, flying into the ozone, getting in the passing lanes, and playing physical as hell from wire to wire. That's what I want to see every game. Yeah, so do I. I would love to know. God, you guys, I try to read as many comments as again. My apologies. There's so many comments when I pull up so many. I'm like 30 minutes behind on comments. I don't know the tactic here. There is no win. I feel like I should skip forward, but like there's a lot of good comments. I don't like doing that. It's a conundrum. It's a freaking conundrum, Henry. I wish they played with the intensity, and I said this a little while ago. If they came out and smashed teams and just came out like ready for warfare from puck drop every night, they'd be so hard to beat. They'd be an amazing team. But there's some nights where it just seems like they don't have it, and that's not going to be an element of the game where it's just like, Oh, sorry, guys. I'm missing out. Thank you, Aaron. With this defense, Aaron with the super chat. With this defense, we can match up to any team. I'm pumped up for Saturday's game. Last time Bedard was in the building, he left with a broken jaw. Heavier, edgier, more violent. Let's go. Let's go, Aaron. Thank you for the super chat, sir. I was at that game, and that happened almost right in front of me. And the crazy part is Brendan Smith didn't even step up on him. He kind of flew. Bedard basically ran into him, and Smith just didn't go to bury him, but he didn't pull back. He was just kind of there, and it was like smack, broken jaw. That was a crazy physical game, by the way, from start to finish. That Devils Chicago game was an absolute war. And then shortly after, in true old school hockey fashion, Brendan Smith had to answer the bell, and he fought Foligno. And credit to Brendan Smith, never backed down. He knew, even though he didn't really do anything, he was kind of just standing there. Bedard took a big hit, superstar player, clean hit or not, you got to answer the bell. Foligno came. We saw a nice bout. And shout out to Brendan Smith. What a warrior that guy was. For as much flack as he got last year, I'm a Brendan Smith guy. But thanks to the super chat, Aaron. Appreciate it. And I do agree with you. With this defense, as long as Markey could just freaking stay on top of his game and not look shaky, this group is going to be very hard to beat. The 5-star, thank you again, sir. Appreciate you. Sheldon has been a really good signing. He's getting the boys going. Agreed. I love General Keefe. Very few complaints about him. I think he keeps the boys accountable. He always wants to get better. Even after wins, he's not complacent. He'll always point out areas of the game where he thought the team could do better, and he's never content. He's always trying to keep pushing the bar and keep pushing this team forward to really be a cup-contending team. And I think you need a coach like that to win a cup. I mean, complacency, I hate to kick his back in, but Lindy Ruff, there was some nights where he was just like, going through the motions. And if we won, it was all peaches and cream. Nah, Keefe will have some negative points or things to work on even after wins. I like that about him. I think he is a great coach. I think it seems at least that he keeps a good balance of kind of, constructive criticism versus just like cutting guys down. But so far, you can't argue with the results. I like what he's done. My only small complaints about him was that, he's part of the new era tandem goalie stuff, which I hate. And I also believe that he's not a wartime general, and that he's always focused on, I think, more skill than sometimes the physicality, even though this is a heavier, edgier, more violent group. I would like to see McDermott in the lineup more. I've talked about this time and time again in different videos and on different lives and things, is that, it does matter. Physicality matters. This is the NHL. We saw the clip, time and time again. Marchand last year in the playoffs was in his stall with a sea of reporters around him talking about how guys are trying to kill each other out there. Guys are trying to injure guys and knock them out of the series. I mean, I think that was eye-opening to a lot of people. Didn't come as shocking to me because I knew this to be true for years and years. But to hear a superstar like Marchand say it to the world, I think took some people by surprise. And they started to say, well, maybe this is a little more serious than I had previously realized. And then you had that Russian kid. Oh no. That Russian kid on the Leafs. Oh boy. Can you guys still hear me? Bear with me 1 second. Can you guys still hear me? Can you still hear? You can still hear? All right, give me 1 second. All right. The new issues present themselves. Thank you. I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about? McDermott? Yo, the drones are crazy out here. Where I live, there's drones everywhere. Drone City. Drone City. What the hell was I just talking about? Was I talking about McDermott? No, I scrolled right to the bottom now because I'm going to go back up. Woodson, go harass somebody else, Woodson, with your negativity. I want to see the day that Woodson has nothing but there's drones everywhere, Jason. But yeah, love Keefe. Wish he, kind of embraced the physical stuff a little bit more and had the toughest man in the National, Curtis McDermott, in the lineup a little more than he has. Just because, and shout out to, oh shit, I lost it now. Someone pulled the record, and I appreciate that. I will check that later as well. Did someone say he was not? Oh, there we go. LHM. Just so we're all aware, whether you like Big Mac or not, the Devs are 9-3-1 of him in the lineup. Kiss my ass to all the Curtis McDermott detractors and the people talking smack. Thank you, LHM. I was gonna have to pull this later. I hope you did your due diligence correctly. Maybe I'll double check this. Maybe I won't, but I believe you probably. It took some time for someone to dig this up. 9-3-1, guys. Hold on, let me just do my quick calculations. So that's 13 games, and so that is 19 out of a possible 26 points with Curtis McDermott in the lineup. Huh? And your New Jersey Devils with the Big Mac, Curtis McDermott in the lineup. The Devils are playing at a 731 points percentage. I rest my case. Oh man, what a great stat for the shout out to the Curtis McDermott supporters out there and the supporters of all violent gentlemen and heavier, edgier, more violent hockey, because 731 hockey, I think, speaks for itself. That is completely insane. That is completely insane with Curtis McDermott in the lineup. All right, now let me see where I'm at here. Sorry, guys. We're jumping all over. But thank you, 5-star. Appreciate that. Sheldon has been a great signing. I'm very happy with him. I just hope he embraces the heavier, edgier, more violent, just a little bit more. Traveling Devil, thank you for the super chat, sir. I'm going to donate $10 every time I have to apologize for talking shit about a Devils player. Sorry to Palat and Bastion for past bitching. That's pretty funny. When did you? Well, I guess everyone's bitched about Palat, right? At some point. But yeah, I mean, listen. Hopefully, he's never going to live up to the contract. Let's be honest. But thank you for that, Traveling Devil. He's never going to live up to the contract. But if he could just not, be dead weight, and if he could contribute, I'm not saying score 1 million points, but if he could just have a couple games here and there like he did tonight, do those little things, fight for the pucks in the corners, win those wall battles, and have some timely points here and there, I think his real value could be shown in the playoffs. He was playoff Palat for Tampa. Obviously, we threw a ton of money at him, and everyone's like, "Oh, you paid him for past performance and blah blah blah." But if he has a big playoff, not that it would make up for the contract, but it would make it a lot more tolerable or easier to swallow with a monster playoff. And I don't think that that's unreasonable. I think he could have a monster playoff for us. James Cooper, John Woodson, Timo Meyer is better than half your beloved goats, and Brady does absolutely nothing for this garbage team. Oh, James Cooper, you're so out of touch, my friend. I don't know who John Woodson's goats are, but I do like Timo. But Brady Tkachuk on this team would be insane. I don't know how you could say otherwise. Troy Machine, first line is the only line that can score, while the second line has the most goals between Nico and Nason. Well, depending on where Nason ends up. I do think he's probably going to end up on that third line, but we'll see what happens. And everyone's saying it like we never got depth scoring or scoring from defensemen. Like, it has been happening in the past week, but like people have super short memories. Jay Snow, bring Casey back up. I just don't see where you could. And Xavier Max, no room for Casey right now. There's not. Nemitz and Casey are the future. I don't think both of them make it to the finish line 5-star. I really don't. I think one of them is going to get cashed in at some point. Amagi, got so consumed by excitement, I forgot what I bought at the Devil's Den under my seat. Left a message for Lost and Found. Hope they give me good news. Stinks. Damn, Amagi, what'd you buy? John Woodson, trade Siegs, bring up Casey. I would have been all about that in the summer. I don't know how you could do it now. Him and Kovacevic are one of the best defensive pairings in the league. How are you going to break that up? Another super. Aaron, thank you, sir. Can Curtis please bury a goal? I want to see that guy bully someone in the crease and bury the goal. He had a shot attempt early in, I think it was in the first period. He was down low. The puck was getting worked around, and he had it wasn't like a golden chance, but I guess it like shanked off his stick, and he kind of sent it wide, and then he went flying back, so he didn't get caught. When he was on the doorstep and I saw the puck coming, I thought the same thing, Aaron. I was like on my couch, like, please, God, let this man whack this in. I would have went ballistic. I think if I'm ever at a game and Curtis McDermott scores, I might jump the glass and go on the ice and get cuffed. Nah, I wouldn't really do that, but I would absolutely go ballistic to see the toughest man in the National bury one. I know Traveling Devil is also anxiously awaiting a goal by the toughest man in the National. He's also in the fan club, like myself. And yeah, I want to see Curtis score one in the worst way. In the worst way. The celebration is going to be epic, I think. Let me see here. I'm trying to kind of not. All right, I'm trying to scroll back here. We're all over the place. We are all over the place. What time? Time to. Yeah, it's impossible to keep up with all these comments. I'm trying my best. JS, Woodson, enough of your shit. I just got here. I'm sure you're pissing in our victory sauce. JS, you must be a psychic because Woodson is absolutely pissing in our victory sauce. God, let me man, I want to know who hurt him. Who hurt you, Woodson? Who hurt you? Let me scan in here. Little refill on the drink while we still got a little bit of an ice cube, you know? Yeah, that's true. Soft tampering. I thought that was hilarious. I don't know that I've ever even heard of that term. When I saw that the Rangers were being investigated for soft tampering with Brady Tkachuk, I was like, what the hell is soft tampering? I mean, I would love to see charges brought against them in some way. Would be phenomenal. I mean, considering the Devils got penalized for the Kovalchuk contract for Cap's circumvention. I mean, wow. What a complete joke that was. The Devils just doing what millions of other teams have done before us with, these extensive contracts with the last few years being very low money. But when the Devils do it, it's called cap circumvention. Pretty wild. Walt, Nemitz and Casey are in the right place developing right now. No need to try to squeeze them in. The defense has been playing well. I agree. And I love this defense so much. I would love to see the exact defense back next year. And that really makes the plot thicken because, Kovacevic is going to get paid and those kids are going to want spots. And so I just can't see how one of them does not get traded. I would just be stunned because what is the path for them to break the roster? I mean, when and where? Jeff, I'm starting to think Nemo gets dealt Kovechkin with yet another rock solid game. Listen, even if they trade Nemitz, if they're doing that to sign Kovacevic, what is the plan for Casey? I mean, I guess at that point you would think at some point, I know a lot of you want to move Dougie. I do not. I'm a Dougie guy. I like Dougie, despite my couple complaints about him. I do think people don't realize how much we'd miss him. And again, just look back to last year. Everyone's like, oh, get rid of Dougie. Look how much we sank. Obviously, there was other injuries in conjunction with Dougie, but look how bad they fell off a cliff last year when he went down. I mean, and he's just been at least contributory in so much of the Devils offense. He's on the ice for so many of the goals for the Devils. It's wild. And I think it would be short-sighted to get rid of him. And really, I don't know. Oh boy. All right, guys, I got to I think the camera's overheating. I don't know why. You can still hear me, right? Can you still hear me? Oh, now I got to scroll to the bottom. The drones are messing me up, guys. The drones are getting me. All right, let me leave the camera off for 2 seconds. Devin, I don't know how to. Now the camera's overheating. If you guys had any idea, I swear that I'm not like an incompetent human being with technology. There's literally so many things that could go wrong. And I say, shout out to anyone who does any sort of anything on the internet that involves like cameras and shit, because there's so many things that could go wrong. You have no idea. And now I'm getting a random camera overheating situation that I didn't get before. Let's see. I'll turn it back on and see how long it lasts. This was never an issue. Super annoying. Blackatron, thank you. No comment. No comment there. So thank you for the super. I'm going to look back and see if you wrote something else. All right, let me get back here. Stupid camera. It's not the software, Woodson. Now it's a camera overheating. Something new every day. Something new every single day. All right, let me see here. Kovacevic leaves, Siegs will suck again. Watch. That is definitely that's definitely my worry. And I think, Siegenthaler obviously has benefited playing with a defensively responsible guy in Kovacevic. I do think if you pair him with somebody else that, his play will suffer. And so, the only way, and that would be unfortunate too. That would involve, it's just too much. I don't think you could get rid of them as a pair, because then what? You're going to put Nemitz and Casey as a pair next year? I just don't know how you do it. I can't see it. Crazier things have happened, but I would love to see them both back. Party Burger, we need to find a way to keep Kovacevic. Oh, I would love to see it. Absolutely love it. Wow. Natos825. Nemitz had his chance. He's trade material now. Jay Snow, Brady's a stud. He's a unicorn. You're crazy to think it's his fault in Ottawa. I couldn't agree more. The guy's on a sinking ship. Guy's on an absolute sinking ship. How are you going to play him? He plays his ass off every single night. Max Permanda Stein. Keefe said Mercer required quite a few stitches. No further update to this point. Yeah, typical Devils. Lazar back should be a morale boost. I agree with that. Oh, this is answering my question from forever ago, and you answered it forever ago. Even though I love the guy, I would have passed on Dylan since he's older than Pesci. Ooh. Oof. It's a tough one. I love Dylan. Dylan quickly becoming one of my favorite players. I'm still not sure what the better offseason signing has been, Kovacevic or Nason. Your thoughts, Ace? Well, if you had to pick one on defense and one on forward or one on offense, those would be the two picks. If I had to pick one or the other, I would have to give the edge to Nason here, LHM, just because, if we didn't have Nason, what does the forward group look like then? Versus without Kovacevic in the lineup, there's still plenty of other options. It could have been Hadika, DeSimone, obviously Nemitz and Casey, the guys we were just talking about, Tobias Villain. So there is other options. And so I love Kovacevic. He is definitely the steal for sure, and a very important signing, or a trade rather. We traded for him. But if I had to pick one, I would say Nason is more important, just because if you took Nason out of our lineup right now, that loss would hit a lot harder than Kovacevic, just because of the riches we have on defense. But that's the only reason. JS, by the time you read this, I'll be gone. When Mac is there, it's like he's the dad watching his kids play and keeping the bullies in check. It allows them to play their game, which is invaluable. Let's go Devils. Let's go Devils. How about them Devils? NJ Swamp Fox, no one is talking Brady to replace Jack or Brat. Who'd be the perfect complement to their line? Correct. That would be the line of all lines. Oh, definitely the best line for the Devils since the A-line, in my opinion. Insane Pollock, Wedgwood and the Avs are losing 3-0 to Utah. Make it make sense. You can't make sense of it. There's something about guys with a chip on their shoulder coming back to play their old team in their barn that makes them want to win. It really is. Select a boy, what's going on? Devils folks, Ace, what's going on? Bedard broke his jaw because he never picked his head up, and Brendan Smith just basically stood him up. That is correct. Wolf Rock, and as you know, they can't take a night off in the postseason, brother. General Chaos to get that in their heads by then. Heavier, edgier, more violent. Let's go Devils. Yeah, couldn't agree more. Hopefully they just continue to come out with this intensity. Whatever Keefe has told them the past 2 games, the Devils will look great. Outside of getting snake bitten and losing a game to Stolars, who stole the game, in my opinion, they got to come out for war every game. And if they do, good things will happen. In most games last year, specifically the playoffs, the Panthers came out for blood every game. I'll just show this again. I showed this before, but Devils 9-3-1 with Curtis McDermott, the toughest man in the National, in the lineup. My God. What more do you need to know? What more do you need to know? The 5-star, the drones are up here in Summit. Oh, boy. They're everywhere, man. They're all over Essex County. It's all over the Ring app. I guess there's like the alerts and everyone's talking about it. It's a pretty wild situation. And who knows? I'm hoping we get some answers at some point. Woodson is a bum. Chinese drones. Woodson's a hockey and computer expert. Woodson, come on, man. No dickheads. Remember, Fitzy told you. No dickheads. Drones are causing software issues. Always Maple Leafs fans in Devil Spaces. Don't they have anything better to do? Who's the Maple Leafs fan? The 5-star, I've seen like 5 of these large drones recently. Summit, New Providence. No, there's way more than that around here in Essex County. All over Essex County. Blackatron 9-3-1 sounds about right. 731. Absolutely. Screw the front office analytics nerds. Say it louder for the people in the back, Blackatron. 9-3-1, 731 hockey. This is what I say to the math team. Oh, right there. Oh, you got your charts on McDermott? Here's my chart. 731, baby. Put the Big Mac in the lineup. Love to see it. Party Burger. McDermott brings that pressure in the ozone we need every night, and teams start to think twice when you have him on the forecheck. Absolutely. When you see that man barreling in, you're like, oh, shit. I forget what game it was. A bunch of you remember. He was like in a foot race, and he was trailing a couple steps behind somebody, and the guy just straight up let him get the puck. The guy just basically backed away and was like, go ahead. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to bother you. Take that puck. Wild. Absolutely wild. The 5-star. Do you think we need, thank you again, sir. Super chat. Do you think we need to make moves another forward? The reality is, yeah, I would say that almost every, like, you can't be content. You could, there is no team that can't be improved, like in any sport, right? Like a team by definition can always be made better by improving one of the players. That's just the fact. Any team could be made better. With that being said, my number one want is a top 6 winger to play with Jack and Bratt. But I also would like to see a bottom 6 player brought in as well. But if I can only pick one, I'm obviously going to pick the top 6. Again, with, cap constraints, we have plenty of assets to trade. So I'm not worried about that. It's more of how you're going to make cap space if, to bring in one of these guys. But I think someone to finish, and preferably big and physical, to play on the wing with Jack and Jesper Bratt would really round that line out well. Now, who knows? Maybe Fitz is thinking that that Palat is the long-term answer. I ideally would like to see someone better than that play with them. But if he sustains, maybe he turns his attention to that bottom 6 guy or a top 9 guy where it gives us some flexibility to bump guys around. It's going to be interesting to see, but the roster definitely needs, at a minimum, a tweak at the deadline, in my opinion, if Fitz wants to put the team in the best position possible for the playoffs. You must happen. Haven't seen the Cup since Vietnam. What's going on, Chico? I'm late, but what a game we saw. Exactly what we needed to see. Adaptation. No more mindless crashing that. They cycled the puck, got up high, tipped it, screened the goalie, and got rewarded. Yeah, plans B, C, and D, baby. When that neutral zone gets clogged up, you must dump and chase. You must go to the corners. You must make shit happen. And the Devils did it tonight. Love to see it. Antonio, let's go Drones. The 5-star, they're absolutely playing a different game, and they forced to, and they got to get used to this. And I'm sure Keefe, the last couple practices, has probably been doing drills or whatever they're doing, practicing playing this type of game, because now we've talked about this. This video or multiple game tapes are out there, and the league memo is now, this is how you make it hard on the New Jersey Devils. This is how you play to give yourself the best chance to beat the Devils. And teams are just going to keep mimicking it, and they're going to keep doing it. And so hopefully we keep finding a way to score these dirty goals, sustain pressure down low, cycle, dump and chase, do what they got to do, is fling it on net, look for tips, whatever it is. And hopefully get leads in these games. And then teams are going to have to open up a little bit more to try to come back. And that's where we hit them with the rush, with the little transition game that they're trying to prevent to begin with. As long as they can keep adapting, because that's going to be the playbook. It's out there. That is what the league has been shown is their best chance of beating the Devils, is to play this type of game, and you're going to keep seeing it. It's going to keep happening and happening. Insane Pollock, how many of the 3 losses were with Big Mac were shutouts? Any of them? I don't have that in front of me. Maybe one of our local statisticians could pull that up. Antonio, they needed this one to prove they weren't just outright losing and rather just having a tough go here and there. Great bounce back. Agreed. I did think it was a little funny that after the Maple Leafs game, Keefe said it was the best game of the season. But I thought, I was very pleased overall with the Devils' effort in the game. Unfortunately, the results sucked. But I said, even in the post game, that if the Devils play like this every night, they're going to have way more wins than losses. And it was just one of those nights where I truly believe we were goalied. People throw that term around a lot. It was the first time I thought it really happened this season. But yeah, good to see a bounce back win where we got the result we wanted. Selected boy, the last time the Leafs won the Cup, reggae music was up and coming. Yeah, it's been quite a while. Chico, if Curtis McDermott scores, I'll buy his jersey. I'm going to hold you to that, Chico. I will definitely hold you to that. I hope he gets one on the year. He's got to. LHM, I love seeing the Rags fans 100% convinced that they're for sure acquiring Brady. What a collapse does to a fan base. Yeah, I don't know how anyone could be so positive of a move like that. And I don't even know what they would offer. When I first read that, I'm like, what are you offering? It seems like the package would have to start with, at a minimum, Adam Fox or Lafreniere plus. So I feel like those are two of their franchise or next franchise players. It would be kind of taking a step back to take a step forward. I don't know that it would make sense, but I'd be curious to know what their delusional and their head package was going to consist of to bring Brady there. But I do know if there is any smoke to any of these rumors, Fitz cannot let him go to the Rangers. Absolutely cannot. I'll donate 100 for every goal Max scores in my jersey. So Traveling Devil has the Curtis McDermott. Wait. No. Oh, boy. The camera's overheating, folks. Traveling Devil, did you order the red or white jersey? I forget if you ordered red or white. Let me know, Traveling Devil. If it's red or white, I forget. I know you ordered one of them, but Traveling Devil will be getting one of Curtis McDermott's game-worn jerseys. I happened to buy one last year. I needed to do it. I have a compulsion. Soft tampering. How dare you talk about Brady? Chico, we don't talk about it enough, but the decade of darkness legitimately permanently broke some Devils fans' brains. It's honestly kind of sad. I think you're right, but man, it was that, like, I was depressed by it. And then the crazy part is, after a while, it was just like I would watch the games, but like I had no expectations. It was almost emotionless watching. Like, some of those seasons were over so early, like what, Thanksgiving or Christmas time? It was like the Devils aren't making the playoffs, our season's over. And it was really just like, it was painful. It was truly painful to watch some of those things. And I do think it had a toll. It took its toll on some people. Some people never could really come back from it, unfortunately. Aaron with the super chat. Thanks, my man. Once we get to the playoffs, I say we play all playoff games at Brendan Byrne. Devils wear the light white jerseys at home, and for the love of hockey, bring back the old goal song. Oh, man. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it. I would love for that to happen. Unfortunately, I can't see it ever happening. I would love to somehow plant the seed that if HBSE, the ownership group that owns the Devils, if I could present a compelling business case to where somehow if they purchased, I guess now it's Izod Center, technically, if they purchased the old arena and renovated it and then moved the team there, that in the end, they would make more money by having more shows at the Prudential Center and then having the old arena renovated as where the Devils play. I don't think it'll ever happen. It's just a funny dream to talk about once in a while. I just can't see it ever happening. But, I would love to go back to the old arena for so many reasons. Yeah, Jason, the drones are getting me. 5-star, I'm sorry, James, but Casey is better. I'm assuming you're talking about that was probably Casey versus Nemitz, I would think. Drone zeroing in, trying to silence the McD truther. Yeah, they're like cut the power. He's talking about McDermott and the Devils' record 9-3-1, man. 731. Was that what it's 731 with McDermott in the lineup? Oh my God. Traveling, if the drones were in Florida, they'd be shot out of the sky. So I'm not gonna lie. I made that joke last week. I told my buddies, I'm like, if these things were over Texas or Florida, they'd get shotgunned out of the sky. I'm hoping to see some psycho in New Jersey do it. I really want to know what these things are. They're never going to tell us. I'm hoping someone shoots one down and puts it online. I mean, God, I thought about calling one of my buddies that has an arsenal of weapons and asking him if he was down. Because if you think about this, if you were the first person, if I somehow or anyone successfully shot one of these things out of the air and live streamed it, I believe you become rich within a week. If you have the exclusive video, and then imagine if there was like some aliens or some shit in it. Oh my God. And you had it in captivity. Whew. It's nice to dream, but It would be phenomenal. Yeah, wrap the camera in ice. I wish it was that easy. Seth, we hear you. Shut it down and restart everything. No, there's a feature on the camera. I have to mess with it. It's not the software. The camera's actually turning off. It overheats. There was a setting. A setting that I guess it thinks it's melting down, even though it gets hot, but it doesn't get that hot. It turns off way too soon. But I have to go mess with the setting again. I found it a while ago. Dougie's offense overshadows his poor defensive play at times. The physical and shutdown defensive team play of the season seems to be rubbing off a bit. I think so. And obviously, this is something Keefe has been preaching, and that all goes to the same thing. Heavier, edgier, more violent. All of that is hits, blocking shots. It's just grinding teams down, and it's winning playoff hockey. The longer, actually, Cisco, the more guys that buy into that system, the better off it is, and it will help the team win games. Blocking shots is massive. People don't realize hits and block shots. Those are stats of winners, man. And when the Devils rack them up in both categories, I am going to keeps the shots down and obviously helps us win games. Get a small fan and place it close to the camera. Good idea. Be back 1 second. I do have a fan. It's a pretty big one, but oh shit. I'm breaking everything, guys. I'm breaking it all. I don't know if that's going to work. It's a floor fan. I almost broke all kinds of shit trying to move it. There's so many wires and things. The drones are coming after me. They know. We're talking about Curtis McDermott. Kevin Kirk, I have to agree. Casey is better than Nemitz right now. Nemitz may just need some time to develop, but Casey is ready now for the NHL. So, I mean, listen, I think Casey can play in the NHL. Is he ideal? I'm going to say no, because he's still very green. I do think developing in the AHL will be good for him. He wouldn't stick out as a bad defenseman in the NHL, but if I'm being honest, I don't think he's fully, ready, especially in the defensive end. His offensive skill is second to none in terms of Devils defensemen. His vision, his hockey sense, playmaking ability, obviously that dangle and that snipe of a shot. But we did see against, I think it was the Caps and maybe a couple other teams, there was, when they put the pressure on, he was getting smashed and we were kind of getting pinned in our own end. And it was problematic. And it was something teams, I think, were keying in on. They were like, throw it on his side and then really get after him. And he gets a little nervous and he's undersized and he gets smashed. But I do think he is capable of playing in the league today. I do. And I do think it's so hard, man. I mean, it's Nemitz. I don't think he's going to be a bust, but I do think he ends up getting traded. It just seems like the writing's on the wall. 5-star. I don't even know what the purpose of these drones are. Are they UAPs? I don't know that anyone really knows. I don't know that anyone really knows what's going on. If I'm at this point, I have to believe that it's our government. I just feel like if it was a foreign government, they would have shot these things down. Furthermore, if it somehow is a foreign government, and I don't know if anyone saw this, a congressman, I believe, the guy Dewey, I think he's a congressman for New Jersey, went on TV and said that he heard from a source. He didn't say who, obviously. He was like, a reliable source. He was saying that he was told that these are Iranian drones coming off an Iranian mothership in the ocean. I was like, what the an Iranian mothership? And then the Pentagon quickly refuted it and said that he was full of shit. But in the end, at this point, I honestly don't believe anything that anyone says. And so anything is possible. But if they are in fact drones or whatever of another country, that is the scariest shit of our lifetime, because I always was under the assumption and belief that our military was so far superior to anyone else's that something like that would never even be able to happen. And I do think it is. So for that reason, I do have to believe I have to lean towards they are the U.S. government. I don't know what the point of them lying is. And it's all very shady and very weird. SST Ace going to be earning 1K per episode soon. Got to tell the tax man about that. I'm definitely not going to be making 1K per episode, but that would be great. James, why not keep both? Why should we trade away our future? And I think Nemitz has the physical assets to develop to be much more. You could, but the thing is, how long are you going to keep them both in the AHL? That's the real thing. And that's why I do think, unfortunately, Kovacevic is going to be that combined with what he's going to get paid. Kovacevic is going to be gone after this season, and it will really break my heart because one of these guys needs a roster spot. I don't see any planet where they both get roster spots at the same time, and they're both looking to be playing in the NHL next season. They got to be. So, I could see a scenario where Nemitz is traded and we let Kovacevic go in free agency, and then bam, there's a spot for Casey. I hope it doesn't happen, but LMH, he's earned the dough. Thank you, my good sir. Four Devils. Yo, cheers to you, Four Devils. Snitches get stitches is one of my favorite sayings. It has been since I was a child. I taught my little nephew, who is now 7. I've been telling him that stuff since he was like 3. My older nephew is very advanced, a very smart kid, very sharp. He was talking in full sentences and coherent thoughts at a very young age. And I remember when he was about 3 years old, it's my brother's kid, my brother's son, my first nephew. I would always give him shit that they told me not to give him, like stuff that he asked for. Like, I'm a fun uncle, guys. What do you think? I'm not going to give the kid the shit that he wants. So don't give him soda. And I'd be like, yeah. Don't give him gummy worms. And he's like, can I have gummy worms? I'm like, yeah, man, have all the gummy worms. So I'd be like, shh, you can't tell anybody about this. I'm like, this is our secret. And I always told him snitches get stitches. And it's funny that you said that today, Four Devil, because I have another nephew. His little brother is a couple years younger than him. And today my older nephew called me and he was complaining something about his brother. And he was like, and I told him snitches get stitches. I was dying laughing. And that was earlier today. So it's pretty funny that you just mentioned that again, Four Devil. But snitches definitely get stitches. And yeah, that's the code. Aaron, Luke and Nemitz were paired together in the beginning of the year before Pesci came back, and they were an absolute train wreck together. Horrible decision in my humble opinion by the coaching staff to put 2 young, inexperienced kids as a pairing. Never made sense to me. I didn't like it when they did it, but I guess they were still trying to kind of figure out what the permanent pairings were going to be, and they kind of threw them out there as a test. I do think both Nemitz and Casey would look better paired with a stronger defensive partner, much like how Siegenthaler has looked amazing this year, paired with Kovacevic, a dramatic night and day improvement to what he looked like last year, and a strong partner could do that for you, and I think both of them would look better with a better partner. James, they are teenagers playing against grown men. This is true. Antonino, I think we should go for Tuck on Buffalo and Tanev as a depth piece. What does Tuck make? I like him. He's a tough bastard. Yeah, he makes 4.75. I mean, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to make cap space for that guy, my man. You're going to have to, without trading something. I'm hoping, the one thing I will say is unless it's a significant move, and by significant, I mean like blockbuster, right? I hate to keep using Brady as an example, but when I talk about like game changing, like franchise altering type trades, I do believe Brady would be that. Outside of something like that, I really wouldn't want to tinker with our roster players too much in a deal. People threw out Bastion, whatever. I'd be fine with like trading something like that. But for the most part, I'm hoping the roster gets, left intact by and large, and we add to it by moving picks or prospects as opposed to other roster players, if that makes sense. I'm not really trying to tinker with what we got, just maybe upgrade a piece or two with future pieces, picks, and prospects. Jersey Roots, like and subscribe, all you dirty animals. Thank you. Hit the thumbs up. Tuck, Hughes, and Bratter. Oh, that could be interesting. That could definitely be interesting. Oh, man, I was screaming a lot tonight. My throat's a little... My throat's a little scratchy. John Woodson, Nemitz was far better than Luke last year. I don't know what happened over the summer for Nemitz. He looks like he plays scared this year. Yeah, I agree. At most of the, last year when people were so high on Luke, I was like, listen, Luke has great offensive ability. I just thought he was always going to be a disaster defensively. And obviously that's changed under General Keefe. He's playing much more responsible hockey and is looking like a stud this year. Love to see it. I did think that Nemitz was going to develop to be the better overall defenseman. And at this juncture, I would be hard pressed to keep that standpoint just because now you look at Nemitz is literally in the AHL and Luke is looking like a revitalized player. Again, another guy benefiting from a strong defensive partner. I think Pesci's letting him shine. Chico, John Woodson, don't tell me this is the first sophomore slump your old ass has ever seen. Mark LeBron James Castro, late to the party after coming back home from the Rock. How about them Devils? Are you not entertained? Well, Mark, you know what?
How about those Devils? How about those Devils?
How about those Devils, Mark? Mark LeBron James Castro, you witnessed live and in person an amazing victory. Third period, gut them out, dig deep, find a way to win your New Jersey Devils in the third period, Ed.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
I know you're entertained, Mark. The New Jersey Devils definitely entertained you and rewarded you for your attendance tonight, and you love to see it. I wish I was rewarded with great performances or wins when I go to the Rock. My record for this season currently sits at 3-3. So, LHM, the drones are piloted by Rags fans searching for any semblance of a winning culture. Oh, shit. That's pretty funny, my man. Oh, man. What a fall from grace, right? I mean, listen, I told everyone a couple weeks ago, I'm still not counting them out. As long as they have Shesterkin, who could get hot and steal games, they're definitely never out of it. And so no one think that they're done yet. I'm not sold. I do think they're going to be around, and especially if Shesterkin gets hot, all they have to do is get in the playoffs. He can win series on his own. My mother sends me Wordle every day. Her old ass is up late tonight. She just sent it to me. I forgot. It's another time sucking activity, Wordle. Let me see. Oh, Devin G, not from NJ. What's the drone thing? There's drones everywhere, like random. Dude, look it up, bro. There's freaking drones everywhere. Everywhere. Some of them just hover in the groups. People are reporting them literally everywhere. The government claims they don't know what it is. It's some of the wildest shit I've ever seen in my life, to be honest. Had one Maple Leafs fan on the Let's Go Devils channel, Ace. Wow. Mark, I lived in Jersey for 40 years. My brother-in-law says they're looking for me. I heard the drones are the size of a Volkswagen. People are reporting they're the size of small SUVs. I don't know how they would really know how big they are, but apparently, people, there's all kinds of videos. Look it up. They're all over YouTube. It's wild shit. Scary times. Maybe they're conditioning us for aliens, or maybe these things really are aliens. I have no idea. It is super creepy. Damien, what's going on, Damien? Okay, I know today is 12/12 before a special day, but W2F, first they won using the black jerseys, and second we're talking about trading Palat, and how we should keep him. Yeah, right? I still don't love the black jerseys. Our record overall in them has to be quite terrible, but they got to win in them today, and Palat is pulling his weight now. Aaron, Timo was flying tonight. Guy was checking well and winning puck battles. Almost buried the puck a few times. Yeah, Timo was out there grinding for sure. A lot of people don't appreciate Timo unless you see goals and assists from him, but I think he does a lot of little things. He's a nasty guy. He has a mean streak. A little bit of that heavier, edgier, more violent him. I'm a big Timo guy. And in between the second and third periods, I picked him to score in the third. He didn't deliver for me, but he had at least one shift in that third where he was kind of all over the place. Chico, do the Devils need more? The Devils won the Cup in 2000 with their best lineup of all time and then added Joe Nieuwendyk. Of course, they can be improved, but for now, I'm on team don't rock the boat. That's fair. James Cooper, Utica is going to be a wasteland. Please don't trade our whole future. I don't want to end up like the Bruins or Penguins. This is what I'm going to tell you, James. At some point, if you want to win that silver thing, that big, shiny silver thing, at some point, your GM, my GM, our GM must make somewhat of a gutsy move. And by gutsy, I mean some people go, ooh, was that worth it? Without making a ballsy move like that, you're not going anywhere. You have to, operate with conviction. And I believe, and I've said this since the 22-23 season, as you all know, that beautiful franchise record-setting 112-point season that saw us defeat the arch-rival New York Rangers in a wonderful 7-game series after we trailed 2-0, and Akira Schmid, legend in my household for eternity, brought the Devils back to life from do not resuscitate. We were flatlined. At some point, you must make a deal that some people will question and some people will be like, ooh, you got to give to get. And standing by idly, in my opinion, is not going to get you a cup. Could it happen? Sure. It definitely could happen. But to put this group in the best possible position, it's going to have to be, you're going to have to do something. And it's going to unfortunately involve trading probably Nemitz. You're going to have to trade a futures piece. What is your plan then if you don't ever want to trade either Casey or Nemitz? What is your timeline for them joining the big club? I'd be curious to know. James, I'm curious. How far behind am I in comments? I go to a lot of games. I don't go to every game, Devils Holic. That's funny. A picture of Jacob Josephson looking back at you. I would trade Nemitz for a forward with control. Smash that like button, you animals. Thank you. The Rangers rumors are BS. I don't even think they have the assets to get Brady. I mean, they do, but it wouldn't make sense. Like, hypothetically, I believe, Lafreniere, Fox, and maybe something else. I believe that gets it done. But what is the point? What is the point of doing that? It's just like, why? Bro's running the OG IBM computer with accessories. No, Woodson. I have like a custom built, pretty high-end computer. But thank you for your not funny jokes. The Camilleri and Jágr years were real dark. I'm not going to lie. Part of what kept me going as a fan during those times was, seeing Jágr in a Devils jersey really softened the blow for me a lot of those terrible seasons, because I always loved Jágr as a kid growing up, one of my favorite non-Devils players in the league. And to see him on the Devils and the level he was still playing at as an old man, along with Marty, who I knew was just padding his records as the all-time greatest, that is one of the things that that kind of kept me intrigued. Devils should hold an open scrimmage practice at the old arena. That'd be sick. I don't even know if they have the shit there to make it an ice rink, though. They probably don't. They probably don't even have the stuff there. Cyril, do we know for sure these are even drones? I haven't seen any video or pic that definitively prove to me they're drones. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think everyone's calling it drones, but what else would you call it? I guess UAPs or aliens? I mean, I don't know. I've seen some different videos that looked like they were, definitely looked like drones. But I suppose that they might not be. That'd be kind of weird. If they were aliens, that'd be wild. There was a Pappy that shot down a drone and got a felony for it. Where, when, and where was that? Devil's Holic, why can't any helicopter fly close enough and someone in the helicopter shoot the drone down? who knows, man? These are all weird, all weird things. Supposedly there was fighter. People saw over the parkway today. There was some of these drone creature things, and there was like fighter jets circling around. I mean, I would love to know. I talked about this. They said they're from Iran, the drones. The Congress guy said that, and then the Pentagon refuted it. I don't know what to believe anymore about anything. LHM, I think the drones are a marketing ploy from your New Jersey lottery. Remember, anything can happen in Jersey. Your mother could be abducted by aliens. Anything could happen in Jersey. Jay Snow, I agree. They know what those drones are. They ain't going to tell us. I do think they're U.S. government machines. LMH, can a Stanley Cup happen in Jersey? I'm going to say yes. What's going on, Jerome? No drones like that here in the South, just saying. Select the boy. It has 3 times before in reference to the cups. Walt, I heard that Iranian drone thing too, but I doubt that's accurate. Most likely to be U.S. made, if anything. I agree with that. I do think there are our own machines. I don't know why they're being shady about it. Devin, quiet take. I see Luke going offense way more lately and not hanging at the blue line. So a lot of pucks come out of the zone trying to score because he isn't back there to stop them. He has been taking a little more chances. But with the way the offense has been going as of late, I mean, any contributions from the back end are extremely welcome. And I think the leash has gotten a little bit longer from General Keefe. I think he's given Luke a little bit more free reign to join the offense. He started saying, oh, shit, and I thought a drone got him. If the government know what they were, they 1,000,000% wouldn't be flying right now. You would think. Devil's Holic. Rumor is that they're going to have another Stadium Series game. Thoughts? I heard that rumor. It doesn't seem like it's based on anything. I actually heard from a credible source. I didn't talk about this, but now I will because someone else was talking about this. But I heard from a credible source that has some good connections that they were told, maybe even as much as 6 months ago, that the Devils were being looked at for a not a Stadium Series, but a Winter Classic at MetLife Stadium, most likely against the Rangers. I would love to see it. Listen, I'm happy with the Stadium Series, but the Winter Classic is the big one. That's the big boy. I think they're usually, some have been on New Year's Day, I think. But a Devils Rangers Winter Classic, the pinnacle, the top billing of the outdoor games, would do massive numbers at MetLife Arena. And I will say, by then, hopefully, it's obviously not anytime soon. And if I'm still active in this community and I'm still making videos and doing whatever with the Devils here, with the channel, if I'm still involved in this, if and when another outdoor game pops up, I will have some sort of large scale, epic tailgating, barbecue, party situation for sure. Cyril, Casey being better than Nemitz is a very reactionary, short-sighted take. It is. And overall, who knows? Maybe Nemitz will be the better player in this league. It is tough to say. But for this Devils team specifically, anytime in the near future, I do think Casey is a better fit just because of his offensive upside. And if you look outside of Luke and Dougie limited, I mean, Dougie's not really a amazing puck carrier or skater. He can shoot, but outside of Luke, there's really no one else that brings that element. And I think the Devils could use that in a guy like Casey at some point. Devils Holic, the more outdoor games, the merrier. Couldn't agree more. Jesse, when are we going to be in the Winter Classic is my question. All these garbage teams have played multiple times. Some of them bring on the Classic. I would love it. That would be ridiculous. The Winter Classic would be, whew. I'll be stoked for another Stadium Series, but the Winter Classic is the elite of the elite. BC, heard a crazy rumor that the drones are ours and searching for a dirty bomb in the New Jersey, New York City area. Let's hope not. Oh, boy. Where did you hear that, BC? If it's a foreign country that's an act of war. If it's a foreign country that's an act of war, World War III situation. My God, what a tongue twister. I agree. If somehow those are foreign, I don't want to say enemy, but I get enemy, aircraft. To me, that is definitely an act of war, and shoot them shits down. Shoot them down now. Sir, I'll keep both while the team is supposedly contending. Injuries will happen, and it's not worth risking being too thin for a potential cup run, all because of a few injuries if we trade Nemitz and or Casey. I'm gonna have to disagree with you there, my man. I'm taking if I'm Fitzy, I am pushing some of my chips in. Take those chips and shove them to the middle. Do or die. It's time to try to win a cup. I wouldn't trade both, and I would try to preserve Casey. I like them both, but I just don't see how you have room for them both. I just don't see it. Brandon, also having a lot of competition in our defense with Casey and Nemitz ready to play keeps our current players in check, or they're going to be sent to the AHL. Yeah. Everyone knows that there's guys on offense and defense. There's guys waiting in the wings to try to take your job. That is just a fact. This is the NHL. And if you mess around and you're not doing what you got to do, someone is ready and willing to take your job, especially on defense. Buffalo wants to infinitely rebuild around Tuck and Thompson. I mean, that makes sense. If we trade all our prospects, we'll have a cup window, then suck again for 10 years. Red Wings were a force for 20 years. Why can't we keep retooling to stay viable in the long run, not just win now? James, you can't do both, baby. You could have a healthy balance. You could have a healthy balance. I'm not saying to trade everyone, but I don't think trading Nemitz is necessarily mortgaging the future, like what you're referring to, is mortgaging the future to try to win now. At some point, you have to make a move that's going to sting a little bit, unless you're counting on extreme luck. If we make no roster changes, could we somehow go on a run and luck our way to a cup? Absolutely. However, if you're being honest with yourself, you would have to look at this team and say, Fitz can improve this team going into the playoffs. And if you come to that realization, it's most likely going to come at the cost of a young prospect. Now, do I want to just totally sell the future? No, I'm not saying to do that. But trading one defenseman isn't going to do that. We have plenty of guys in the system. Trading Nemitz alone isn't going to sacrifice the future. And there's tons of defensive prospects in the system. It wouldn't worry me. I'm not saying to trade them all. Wordle is fun. Maybe if Rangers fans played it, they would be smarter. Some of the words kill me, man. It's another time suck. I told my mom, I'm like, why did you even show this to me? I don't need any more things to waste time in my life. I have tons of things that require time. Ace, did you watch the Bob Lazar documentary? No. What was that? I think I have that tabbed on my computer. Hold on. Is this about the aliens? I have it tabbed somewhere. I'm super behind in my consumption. I've told you guys this. There's tons of interviews and things and shit that I have to watch. Which one is it? There's a million of these Bob Lazar things. And he was also on Rogan, it seems. Wow, very interesting. Wolf Rock and Secor for Friesen, ballsy trade. I miss Luis. Exactly. And you could say, you know, the young and promising Brian Ralston to bring Claude Lemieux back in 2000. You could always go back. The Langenbrunner trade. My God, Arnott and McKay going to Dallas for Neuendijk and Langenbrunner. I mean, there's always trades that you're like, holy, like shockers. Like, whoa. You more times than not will see something like that will, help push a team towards the cup. Searle, Jágr having that season he did at 41 and 13-14 was very impressive. Insane. I got to meet him and talk to him a bunch of times. I was like a little kid again. I mean, seeing Jágr after watching him and being a fan of his for all the years, even back from, the Pittsburgh days when he had the mullet and then he was doing the salute in Washington. Obviously hated when he went to the Rangers. That really pissed me off. He had some incredible years for the Rangers. But seeing him in a New Jersey Devils sweater at the Rock was just wild. Something I never thought would ever happen. Jágr is as Mr. Hockey. He embodies everything more than anyone I've ever seen. I couldn't agree more, Chad. This guy is still playing professional 3 decades plus now. He's been playing for the team I believe he owns in Czechia. The name's escaping me right now. Kladno, I believe. And this guy has a freakish workout regimen. They said after games, he'd go on the exercise bike. He'd wear weighted vest and skate around the rink. I think he had the keys to one of the practice rinks for one of the teams. The guy's nuts. Absolute warrior. And I do think he is pretty much like the next generation, if you will, Mr. Hockey for sure. Chad says they are military. They aren't foreign. I tend to think that way too, but then why are they lying about it? It's just so weird. Devil's Holic, I think Jagr should get a Ring of Honor night. He's definitely getting his jersey retired as a Penguin. He recently had his jersey retired as a Penguin a few months. Was that last year? Or was that earlier this year? My mind. I think it was last year. Let me just double check. Yeah, it was last season. Wow, dude, time flies. It was last February. They did retire number 68 in Pittsburgh. Very cool ceremony. I watched that. Yeah, that already happened for Jagr. Jerome Ace, I woke up at 11 p.m. because I have an overnight shift tonight. So awesome to wake up to highlights of a big win. Let's go Devils. Well, I'm glad you woke up to the highlights of a big win, and a big win it was. Beautiful win by your New Jersey Devils. Devils look like the old Devils, keeping the shots to a minimum. Please keep it up, boys. Shit. I hope so. I really hope they could keep it up. And speaking of interviews, before I forgot, if you haven't seen it, check it out on the channel. I forget where I found it, but I figured a lot of you wouldn't see it, especially for you older, the fans that have been around for a while. There was an interview with Ken Danico, Mike Rupp, talking to the great Martin Brodeur. It was great. That's on the channel now. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Great interview for you guys who lived through that era. Great interview. James, don't have a timeline for Nemitz, but he is 20. He has issues, but has assets to be top pair easy. So trading him for a slightly above average forward seems like such a waste. At least give him to 22. Oh, James, you're so silly, James. You didn't let me finish. I have no interest in trading him for garbage. I'm only trading Nemitz in a marquee deal like something for a Brady Tkachuk. I forgot. Maybe I didn't, make that clear in this live. But I've said that before. He is young. It could take a couple years. It is unfortunate for him. He had that taste of the NHL, and I think he thought he was here to stay. But as we all know, he only got thrown into the NHL because of all of our injuries. I do think he's going to be a good player. It could take some time, and I would not be opposed to trading him for the right deal, but I'm not going to trade him for a mediocre player. I am only trading him in a big for someone substantial. Well, hopefully if NJ does get a Winter Classic game, there won't be 12 other games being played the same day. I don't get the logic in the NHL scheduling all these other games taking focus off of this game. Was that the case last time? I don't remember. The Winter Classic, I believe, is the only game that day for the Winter Classic. James, if Nemitz finds his game, he'll be a 25-minute-a-game stud in 5 years. I agree with that. LHM, that Dougie 22-23 Game 3 OT winner still lives rent-free in my head. Wait, what team are you a fan of, LHM? I'm so confused. I'm a bit confused now. I lost my spot again. Brandon, I do hope General Keefe keeps his team playing tight and defense first. Get the team used to playing tight, then they are ready for playoffs, not needing to learn how to play tight last minute. No, I agree. But they got to ratchet up the physicality. They got to keep hitting, blocking shots, and coming out of the gate hard and not waiting till teams start imposing their will on us. We must impose our will first. Be the first aggressor. And I think if they can stick to that, they're going to be phenomenal. Sure, this is finally going to be Jagr's last season playing pro hockey. He'll be 53 when he retires, if that's true. I don't believe he's going to retire until I see it. I think he owns the team, and I think he's basically admitted even a few years ago that if he stops playing, the team will basically go out of business, which is terrible because it just keeps him playing to sell tickets. Dr. Brian, oh yeah, we're back. We are so back. Jason, no, some of those things don't look like drones. It's weird. It's very strange, guys. It's a very strange time we're living in. Searle, imagine how soft this top six would be without Meyer. Kachuk needs to happen, and that's one of the scenarios where Nemeth, Casey trade is worth it. Nail on the head, Searle. For all the people, and I guess namely SST, there's a couple others that hate on Timo. Timo is the only bulldog we have up front, period. Now, would I like him to produce a little bit more offensively? Absolutely. But is he smashing guys, getting under people's skin, driving the net? I think there was one today where he felt someone push him from behind, so he was like, oh, I was pushed into the goaltender. He crashed the net and fell over the goalie. You need guys like that, especially in the playoffs. I think he's going to be a beast for the Devils in the playoffs this year. And I fully agree. More heavier, edgier, more violent. Timo's the only guy we have like that in the top six. And then obviously Cotter and Nason in the bottom six. And a Kachuk in the top six who could do everything. Hit, pass, fight, score, skate, legend. And that is the type of, I'm not saying just him, but it's got to be something almost of that caliber for me to part with Nemeth or Casey as well. But in a deal for a Kachuk, I trade one of those pieces. But I'm not trading him just for some bullshit. Chico, it's weird that this Devils team is so good defensively. I mean, I love it as an old school Devils fan, but it still throws me off that Jack Hughes is like good at defense now. I don't know if we're going to say, good at defense just yet, but he is playing more two-way hockey, more responsibly. He's getting increased roles under Keefe. He's out there in shorthanded situations on the penalty kill. He's often on the ice in late game situations, protecting a lead with the empty net because of, his overall hockey sense and his skill. It's starting to get unleashed in those scenarios, and I'm sure he's enjoying these new responsibilities. Yeah, and they are holding really good teams under 20 shots. It's wild. Devils fan. Okay, just making sure. SJ, in my opinion, Nemeth is Luke's future partner in that top pair, but Kachuk would be nice. Kachuk would be real nice. James Cooper, yeah, I would trade Nemeth in a blockbuster. Fair enough. Others were mentioning quite. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, James. I'm not trading for some bullshit. Yeah, some people are just like, oh, trade him for not. Like, no. If it's not a somewhat long-term play, I guess some people would and some would not call a Brady move long-term. But if you were to get him at this deadline, that's 4 playoffs worth. You get him this playoff year and then 3 more seasons, hopefully all playoffs. For a player of his caliber with four potential playoff runs, I do that deal. But I'm not doing it for some mediocre, average-ish top 6 guy. Absolutely not. No. If I'm giving up one of those guys, those are like franchise players, in my opinion, or franchise defensemen in the making. I need to get something super, super worth my while. Well, there are 13 games being played this year on the same day as the Winter Classic. Wow, between Chicago and St. Louis. That is crazy. When is the Winter Classic? I could have sworn years ago it was the only game on. Oh, man, this one's on New Year's Eve? That's a terrible look, I think. I could have sworn it used to be on New Year's Day. Yeah, New Year's Eve is brutal, dude. The Devils play that night. Yeah, 8 p.m. That's an interesting one. Oh, wow. So I don't know how I'm going to handle that. The post-game live would technically go into, I'm going to have to think about that. I don't know. 8 o'clock game, the post-game live would typically start at like 11:15. I don't think I'm doing anything this year. New Year's Eve typically is a bust for me. I had a couple very good New Year's Eve experiences in my younger days. There was a couple in college, maybe a couple in my 20s. But overall, I didn't even think about that. I forgot about that. I've only missed one game for a concert this year. Only missed one game. That could be number 2, but probably not. Brandon, if you really pay attention, the other team always hates Timo. They cheap shot him a lot. He does way more than people realize. He must talk a lot of shit during the games. Absolutely. He's the closest thing we've seen to Claude Lemieux ever since Claude Lemieux. I think he's the ultimate agitator. He really gets under people's skin. And you need guys like that to win, and especially in the playoffs. Love me some Timo Meyer. Heavier, edgier, Heavier, more rugged, edgier, and more violent defensively. This is especially during penalty kill method. This is definitely what me and my Hudson Falls Tigers hockey team would have been. Nice. Dr. Brian, looks like when we win, the like button to viewer ratio is just amazing. Yeah, give me, if you haven't, come on, hit the thumbs up for your boy. I can't see how many there are, but in this program I'm in, it doesn't show that. Cyril, more likes than current viewers right now. Nice. New Year's Day, I thought. No, we're playing the Ducks on New Year's Eve. Jason, no, Devils have a nice afternoon game day before Christmas Eve versus the Rangers. Yeah, a lot of people complained about that. A lot of people will be working that day. December 23rd, a 1 p.m. start. A little interesting. And I'm sure the Rangers are going to be looking for some revenge after we absolutely embarrassed them that last game, 5-1. Well, Winter Classic used to be New Year's Day, which is my birthday, so it was always rad getting to watch a special hockey game on my birthday. This year is a mess with games overlapping the Winter Classic. And then I also think that they're going to be up against college football bowl games too on New Year's Eve, I'd imagine. Let's see. Yeah, what a terrible calculation by the league. I guess there'll be the 3 o'clock games. They'll be going up against the Citrus Bowl, the Texas Bowl, the college, the playoff, the Fiesta Bowl, which is a quarterfinal playoff game. Yeah, the league I just don't understand what is wrong with them for a league so desperate for, marketing and to grow the sport and do all these things. How do you run the marquee outdoor game, the marquee big winter game, the Winter Classic, the big boy? You put it up on New Year's Eve where a lot of people are doing all kinds of shit, preparing for whatever, going God knows where, with other NHL games on the docket and college bowl time. Terrible look by the league, but they've proven to me time and time again that they have no idea what the hell they're doing. And Walt, I agree, it's terrible. Blasphemy. Claude was a cheap, dirty player. Claude was the man. You will not talk ill about Claude Lemieux on this channel. Maybe slightly dirty or on the edge of dirty here and there, but he was an absolute warrior, a Conn Smythe winner, a 4-time Stanley Cup champion. Animal. Absolute animal. I don't know whether to hate or love the guys who decided the only game on New Year's Day would be Devils versus King. Oh, wait, they're on New Year's Day, too. I pulled away. Oh, my God. That's crazy. Yeah, so my bad, whoever said I thought it was New Year's Day. It's both. It's New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Damn. What a quick turnaround. That's interesting. Another bullshit thing on the schedule. Yeah, a road back-to-back. I mean, that's a short flight, but still. And it's less than 24 hours. It's 8 o'clock local time for Anaheim on New Year's Eve, and then 6 o'clock local time the next day for the Kings. That is some straight-up bullshit. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Cyril, outdoor games are fun, but they lost a bit of their charm when at least a few of them happened every season. Money talks, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I guess I suppose it lost its luster a tiny bit because with frequency, the specialness wears off a little bit. So by and large, as a whole, I agree with you. However, if you're talking about specifically our New Jersey Devils, they've only been in 2 since they've been doing these, and so it'll never get old to me. Oh, man, what player in the Devils would you like to destroy a 6-pack with? Which player on the Devils? Hold on, I'm cycling through guys in my head, but it's just easier to pull up the roster. I think if I had to pick one to destroy a 6-pack, It would be between Nason, Dylan, and Kovacevic. It'd be one of those three. That would be my choice to destroy a six-pack. One of those three guys: Nason, Dylan, Kovacevic. Not in that order particularly. Jack, will you be satisfied if the Devils only barely squeak by Chicago on Saturday? I say they need to win by 3+ goals. Need a game like that, especially since a weak team at home. No, I disagree, Jack. A win is a win, baby. I would love to see them win by the biggest possible margin, but if they only win by 1, that's fine with me. I don't care about the margin of victory. There is no style points awarded in the NHL. As long as they win, I could care less. Hopefully they look as good as possible in the game and win by as big of a margin as possible. But in the end, I could care less. Just give me the 2 points in that dub. Devils Holic, I hate how we have played 3 or 4 more games than most teams. Super annoying. At some point, it's going to even out, but it is super annoying. And that's why I tell people, stop looking at the traditional standings the way they show it with points. And if you want to get a real accurate picture, look at the points percentage, because the points mean nothing when you point it out. When you've played 3 or 4 more games than everyone else, it means shit. The Insane Pollock, are they doing it on New Year's Eve this year because of the 4 nations? No, I just think the Devils have definitely played on New Year's Eve before. I remember that in the past. But, who knows? Maybe the 4 nations did have a ripple effect. I wouldn't say it's the direct impact, but the way these schedule makers, I always thought it was one of the marvels of the world of how they must use some computer shit, because I don't know how you coordinate the schedules of 30 teams. It's like mind-blowing stuff when you really think about it, especially with all the other elements that are going on at each of these arenas. To coordinate these schedules for all of these teams is nothing short of remarkable, honestly. They're playing the Winter Classic on New Year's Eve, so they don't lose viewership because of the college football bowl games and such. There's college bowl games on that day too, and they're putting other hockey games on. One of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Brandon Thomas, for me to destroy a 6-pack, it'd probably be either Dougie or Lazar. Chico, crushing a 6-pack with a Devil. I'm not a big drinker, but I feel like doing some edibles with Jack and Luke would be an all-time experience. Oh boy. Aaron, remember 3 years ago when the Devils scored 8 goals against Vegas? I'll take one of those games on Saturday. I would love to see it. Would love to see it. Jason, a victory is a victory. Work is work. Teamwork among mates, especially during Christmas and New Year's. Now that we're definitely ready, especially for the Saturday against Chicago, let's go Devils. Let's go Devils. I'm hoping we close out the 5-game homestand with a big win and 2 big points to get us to 7 out of the possible 10. Devils Holic, I read somewhere that MLB uses AI to make schedules. I'm sure NHL is doing the same, probably. Jack and Luke, especially Jack, talk to the media like they're high already. Chris, what's going on, my man? Yo, what's up? You guys still going strong hours later? Not bad. Chico, Luke would sit there blankly smiling, not blinking, while Jack ranted in perfect ancient Egyptian. Oh man, now I got to think who would be in my edibles list. Probably the same guys, actually. Chris, if you win the cup sometime, this podcast will be live nonstop for about a week. I already know. I would definitely do a lot of lives, but I would be out and about, doing things related to it. There would be a shitload of videos. Oh man, I can't even think about that. My brain would hurt. Winning the cup would be, I don't know. It might be the end of me. I'd probably keel over and die shortly thereafter for a variety of reasons. Consumption, lack of sleep. Jack, who's your most hated player of all time and favorite Devil and non-Devil? Most hated player of all time. I guess, are you talking about like looking back on it or like in the grand scheme of things? Hated, I mean, players, Ty Domi and Avery would be high on that. Sean Avery of the Rangers would be on that list. Favorite Devil, the great Martin Brodeur. Look behind me. But Scott Stevens and Ken Danico would be my other favorite too. Those were just the guys I really watched the most of, becoming a fan in 94 and living in the same area as all these guys and seeing them around town and going to a ton of practices and just, watching the whole dynasty, Dynasty Devils. Those were my 3 favorite players of all time. There's tons of other guys I love as well, but Marty, Stevens, and Danica will always be on that top pedestal to me. Favorite non-Devil? I mean, does Yager count as a non-Devil? He eventually became a Devil, so I guess if you're disqualifying him, favorite non-Devil of all time, if we're not counting Yogs, it would probably be Super Mario. Always liked Mario Lemieux. Always liked Mario Lemieux. And I'm trying to think who would be honorable mention. At this point, Ovi would be up there for sure. I love Ovechkin. Always liked Ovechkin. Damien, the NHL hates the Devils, and Bettman wants revenge for that rag series in 23. I don't know that Bettman cares that much, but it does seem like the league overall has an anti-Devils bias. Chris, true. I don't even know what I'd do to celebrate. I might die too. Yeah, it's a lot. It'd be a whole lot. I haven't experienced it in adult. I mean, I was no. I would say I haven't experienced the Cup win as an adult. The last one, I was a senior in high school. I mean, to some extent, I was adult and able to do adult stuff, but I think it's at a different level now, being an old man. Devil's Hall can be busy at the parade, or at least whatever the day the parade is. Insane Pollock, games like this cause marathon streams. It seems so. Winning makes everybody happy, good vibes. Cheers to you guys. It makes everybody super chatty. Aaron, last year Brendan Smith put Bedard on the IR. Who's putting Taylor Hall back on the IR on Saturday? I'm saying Brendan Dillon destroys Hall. A lot of people have been talking about bringing Taylor Hall back. I'm not super with it unless, I just don't think I could get on board no matter what. That's a tall order for me to wrap my head around. Don't jinx it. The fam seems to have work. I don't know if it is working because it's a stand-up fan and it's kind of far. The cord wasn't long enough. I didn't want to unplug it and move it. It would take me a while, but it might be. Chris, well, it was a big win. The Kings are nobody to sleep on. They won a bunch of games in a row, and they're awesome at clogging up the neutral zone. No, great points, Chris. They were on a 6-game winning streak, and they certainly clogged the shit out of the neutral zone. I thought we were going to have to send some Drano down the middle because they clogged it up nice. Devils tied 1-1 going into the third, found a way to gut out a win, and it was scary times for a minute. Chico, for me, most hated Brad Marchand, favorite Devil Patrick Elias, favorite non-Devil PK Subban. Yeah. If eventual Devils are disqualified, then my favorite non-Devil will be Phil Kessel. Nice. Insane Polak. Pavel Datsuk for me. Nice. Love Brad Marchand. Love some Bennett. Most hated Avery and Dino Cicerelli. Oh, man, I forgot about him. Favorite Devil Stevens, non-Devil Pavel Bore. Nice. Damien, got finals to take care of. See you around, Ace. Let's go, Devils. Good luck on your finals, man. Take care. Chico, if he wasn't good at hockey, Brad Marchand would be a goon waiting by the docks with other thugs. There's being tough and there's being a dirty rat. In a sane world, he would not be in the NHL. Did anyone see the thing of him and Biz going back and forth on TNT the other night? It was classic. Devils, Holic. I told my boss if we win and when we win, you ain't seeing me for a very long time. How poetic would it be if Hughes or Heischer knocked Hall on his ass? I would love to see that, obviously. Similar opinions of Claude Lemieux. Similar opinions to what? Chris, I love Bure too. Chris, you're a Ranger fan, right? I got to try to remember these things in my head. I'm pretty sure you are a Ranger fan. And Chris, if you are a Ranger fan, I'm sure you would love Pavel Bure for shooting that puck right at Mike Richter on that breakaway in the Cup Finals. What a save by Richter. My God, what an insane save. Hall's making $6 million, no more retreads. Amen. Amen. Even with retention, I don't think I want him. Hall is too fragile for this Devils roster. Tatar, healthy scratch. Yeah, we put the toughest man in the National, Curtis McDermott, into the lineup. Jay Snow, that signing of Tatar hasn't worked out. No, it was a gamble. It was a risk. Could have signed someone else for Tatar's money, a bigger, heavier player. Yeah, you could have, but in the end, there wouldn't be a huge impact player. I think we gave him $1.2 million, something like that. I mean, you weren't going to find something that was going to make a substantial difference, in my opinion. Marchie, awesome game for the game. Loved him and Biz chirping each other. It was pretty funny. Ranger hand. No, Chris, I don't hate Ranger fans unless they talk smack and they're scumbags. A lot of your fans are terrible. We've met over time some decent Ranger fans like yourself that are respectable human beings that, have coherent thoughts come in here. But a lot of them, unfortunately, are just trolls and the dregs of society talking nonsense. But I don't hate on normal people, Chris. You've been in here a few times and totally normal dude. So respect to you. Maybe you should teach some of your brethren how to operate in these online worlds. Jack, many are upset with the Tar being scratched, but here's how I see it. McDermott, although the inferior hockey player, provides a spark and energy that the Tar can't. Agreed, Jack. Couldn't agree more. The team's record 9-3-1 with the toughest man in the National in the lineup speaks for itself. In a vacuum, is Tatar a better hockey player than McDermott? Yes, he is. However, that doesn't necessarily translate to wins, and it certainly doesn't translate to altered behavior of the other team. And we saw it, and again, I forget what game it was, and I wish I clipped it for the video. There was a game a few weeks back where there was a puck dumped into the corner, and opposing defenseman had I think it may have even been the Ducks game. Maybe it was the Ducks game at the Prudential. The defender had a step or two head start on McDermott, and we all know McDermott's not that fast. The defenseman knew McDermott was behind him, and he kind of slowed up, and he let McDermott rush past him and get the puck first because he saw McDermott coming, and he was like, oh, shit, you could have that puck. And literally just peeled back and let McDermott take it. It was wild to see. Cyril, no offense to Tatar, but McDermott brings more wins than Tatar. I agree with you there. Chris, I hate most Ranger fans too. Trust me. Dr. Brian, have you been to a Devils Stanley Cup game? If you're talking about Stanley Cup Finals, I have been to a fair share of Stanley Cup Finals games. I actually never thought about that in a whole. I was at Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals in 2000 against Dallas when we were up 3-1 and could have won the game, but instead lost 1-0 in triple overtime on a Mike Modano tip at 1:15 in the morning. Didn't go to school the next day. It was an international day of mourning for Devils fans worldwide. Luckily, your New Jersey Devils went out there in Game 6, back to Dallas, double overtime. My man Jason Arnott winning the cup in Game 6. But so my first game was Game 5 in 2000. I was at Game 6 in 2001, another year where they could have won the cup at home. And tragically in that series, not only did they not win at home, they went on the road and lost Game 7, lost the series. That was 2001. And then I was at all 4 in 2003. So that's what, 2000, 2001, and then games 1, 2, 5, 7, and 03. So that's 6. And then I went to all 3 games, 1, 2, and 5. In 2012. So I guess I've been to 9 Stanley Cup Finals games. Not a huge impact, but someone who would impact the lineup better. Tatar's not really a fourth line guy. And I agree with you there too. It's like he's not going to be in the best position for success. And it's unfortunate. I mean, I think Fitzy took a flyer on him and gambled that he would refine that chemistry with Nico and Mercer and that he could be a top 6 guy. I think we quickly found out that he's not, and it was again a calculated gamble that I don't think has worked out. Obviously, I like Tatar; he's a good guy for the locker room. That I agree with. Would love to see the Devils use that toe drag a little more. Cyril, at Chris, respect for being open-minded enough to tag along here. Chico, McDermott at this point, I'm convinced he's the team's biggest cheerleader on the bench. I think him just being there keeps everyone energized and focused. Yeah, I mean, he's been in the league for a little while now. He's seen a lot. He's been a part of a team that won a Stanley Cup, and obviously he's the toughest man in the National, heavier, edgier, more violent. Fitzy, even when they re-signed him back in the summer, Fitz mentioned that a lot of the guys liked him and wanted him back. And there's something to be said for all of that. And the record, again, 9-3-1, speaks for itself. Chico, at Chris, funnily enough, I have that same opinion of a lot of Devils fans. Chico, not going to lie, I was debating saying the same thing. Thanks for taking the potential bullet. Hell is other Devils fans. Chico, I legitimately do believe that we have one of the top 5 dumbest fan bases on the whole. Oof. I mean, it's possible. We are a younger-ish team, but I'm curious, Chico, what makes you say that? Chris, at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. Life is too short to hate without reason. Respect is very important. Agreed. Chris, besides, I like your show. You're knowledgeable and well-spoken. I appreciate that, Chris. Like I may have said to you or someone else that was an opposing team fan. Obviously, when a different team other than your own says nice things about your show, I really appreciate it. And it makes me feel good because it's like, oh, he's not even a fan of my team, and he thinks this is worthwhile to watch for him as a Rangers fan. So I really appreciate that. Thank you very much, Chris. It does mean a lot. Chico, I mean, speaking honestly, I want the Rangers to be good. I want them to be contenders. I want the Devils to beat them at their best. I enjoy watching them suck too, but there is something exciting about both teams being good. Like that, the hype going into that playoff in 22-23, that really was, I mean, it was so hyped up. And overall, I would say it lived up to the hype, even though some of the games within the series weren't great. Most of them were pretty good, and it was just such drama. Devils lose the first two on home ice. We got Vanacek. Then we roll out Akira Schmidt at the Garden. He wins 2. Then we come back for Game 5, take the lead. Then we go back to the Garden. They win at home, force Game 7, and then Schmidt comes in Game 7, has the shutout. We had the whole thing with Trouba crushing Timo. It was a great series overall, and when both teams are good, the rivalry is at its best. And just like the epic 1994 Eastern Conference Finals, widely considered one of the greatest NHL playoff series of all time. The 1994 Eastern Conference Finals between the New Jersey Devils and the New York Rangers was just theater. Multiple overtime overtime games. Game 7, multiple overtimes. I mean, just wild stuff. Devils tying up the Game 7 super with 20 seconds left or whatever it was. I mean, just wild shit. Legends of the game. Messier, Leach, Richter, Graves, and then you had Marty, Lemieux, Stevens, Needs, just all-time greats on both sides in a well-fought 7-game series. And in my opinion, and I think even by hockey historians, one of the best playoff series in NHL history. And it is more fun when both teams are good. Michael, good morning from Finland. Devils fans, Rags suck. And oh, come on. James, we go down 1 or 2 goals and the whole arena is booing. Why not boo the other team? It's because we have uneducated fans. Nothing pisses me off more when it's like we're losing by 3 and we score and they do you suck. Like, have some situational awareness. It's wild. Searle, in my opinion, fan bases over-exaggerate how different fan bases are from one another. At the end of the day, is a bunch of hockey dummies. I think you're right to some extent, Searle, but I do feel, and maybe it's just because I come in contact with them more because of the team I like and where I live in my whole life. But I do feel like Rangers are a special type. A special type of wild. The Insane Pollock. Chico, did you meet the Kincaid couple? Let's see if you know what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about. And I will tell you, I almost crushed that kid multiple times. A story for another day, but he came looking. He wanted to tangle with the champ. And I was going to give him his wish, but I think he's looking for people to whip him so he could sue them. But he almost got it. Trouba knew that series was over and literally just made a beeline for Timo. I can't stand Trouba. He's laid a million dirty hits. Ace, I'm sorry, but I hate the Rags more than anything. I do too. I never met either of them, but you know of them and their online presence. Well, I don't. If I'm thinking of the right thing, they're no longer a couple, from what I've been told. I don't keep tabs. But Chico, in reference to booing, with how bad the Devils have been at home lately, I'm giving fans a pass for a bit if they boo over just 1 or 2 goals. Kincaid family, Devils holic. I've had problems with that POS. I'm pretty sure anyone who's ever been to anything Devils related for any sort of extended period of time has had a run-in with this clown. And it's unfortunate. And I've also heard that he's been banned from the arena, which is long overdue. But he got a ban from the Prudential Center, so you'd love to hear about stuff like that. Talk about terrible Devils fans. Yeah, it's a shame. It always broke my heart that represented our franchise to some extent. They're no longer a couple. Brandon had a domestic violence incident in Florida with a girl, and I heard he got banned from the Pro. He did get banned. Chico, I don't hate the Rangers. At least they're funny. The only team and fan bases that I really, really hate are the Flyers and the Habs. I blame the drones for our play at home. Oh, you guys are funny, man. Cheers. Whew. I take this off for a minute. You're freaking hot. It's hot under the lights. Whew, what a night. Is that the same? Well, I don't know if he successfully was, but the same one that was trying. I don't know if it was, I don't think it was ever successful, but trying, yes. Whole thing on Twitter about that, as well as many other incidents. Wow. I still don't understand how he can afford to every road game travel. Is he going to every road game because he can't go to home games? I have a theory. Yeah, some people are totally lost. What a freak. Devil's Holic, where are you from, man? He said every road game. I went to Calgary and Edmonton and saw him there. Wow. He was on the West Coast trip. Jay Snow, it's a really long story. It's a pretty long story. Maybe someone could give you the Cliff Notes version. Chica, yeah. Got to hop on a drone and head out of the chat. Let's go Devils. Maybe bump into some of you Saturday. Peace out, Walt, man. Have a good one. Maybe he has an OnlyFans. Oh, shit. Devil's Holic, you look like a young dude. How old are you? You made it out to, what was it, Calgary and Edmonton? I've always wanted to go out there. Is there anything to do out there? I guess there's just, you could find fun stuff anywhere. But in terms of like road cities to go see the Devils, those never like jumped off the page like, damn, bro, I got to get to Calgary and Edmonton. Hit me with the quick version. Basically, there was a dude who I want to say he's in his mid-30s now. Super obnoxious person, had tons of, incidents documented both online and in person with other Devils fans, whether it was, obnoxious cursing, shoving, harassing players. I believe, someone else might be more versed in it, but I know that he's tried to start fights with like hundreds of different people, have similar stories. He's talked trash to me a couple times, and I wanted nothing more than to take his soul. But I think that's what he was waiting for, to either sue me or call the cops or whatever. But started fights with mad people. There's tons of, I've met dozens and dozens of people and seen countless reports online of him doing the same thing with other people. And yeah, I guess one of these incidents finally led to him being banned from the arena, which was long overdue. Then he was like trying to creep on young girls online, and that got posted. There's a whole bunch of crazy stuff. One Evil, Night Devils Army, great win. Let's go Devils. Good night. Good night. Good night. Devils Holic. I'm trying to visit every arena in NHL, and I have 10 teams left to see. Nice. Which 10 do you have left? Edmonton has a giant mall or something, I think. I'm 31. My pick is from like 10 years ago. Joe Mama, Calgary is close to the mountains if you'd like to ski. I've never tried it. I've actually went snowboarding once when I was in college, and I got super banged up. My whole body felt like I got hit with baseball bats for like a week after. I face planted on the bunny hill and slid down my face for like 20 yards on ice. And it was just, I had the gnarliest scab afterwards, and there was blood flowing down my face. It was wild. Did you yoke this dude up? No, because it was in a place where I couldn't have gotten away with it. If we were somewhere where no one was around, it would have been a two-piece. Bop, bop. He would have taken a long nap. But it was always in public where like I would have gotten arrested. And so I don't know if he was just playing the odds that I wouldn't crack him or anyone else that he started fights with, but I legitimately would have pounded him into oblivion. And I'm surprised that over his life no one did. Calgary looks like a beautiful place to visit if you have appreciation for nature. Yeah, I do. Is that where Banff is? Or Banff is near there? I would have knocked him out. That shit when little girls don't fly with me. Brandon used to sell stolen jerseys for $250 and sign them himself. He also used to sell club wristbands to people for $100. There's your Cliff Notes. Oh, I think that those are pretty mild aggressions compared, or sins, or whatever you want to call it, compared to the stuff that I've heard about. But that'd be added to the list. Skiing is dangerous. It seems it. And I feel like I'm too old to break something. 3 California teams and Jets: Wild, Stars, and Canucks, Kraken and Blackhawks, and now Utah. I'm not a big go to the road trips. Like, I'm not huge on that, but I do enjoy it. A few years back, right before COVID, I did what I called the West Coast Wagon. And I saw the Devils play Anaheim, or let me see, what was the order of it? It was San Jose, Anaheim, LA, and Vegas all in one trip. It was pretty sick. Really cool trip, really fun. And that was a bad Devils team in 1920. One of the years we had PK. The Devils sucked, but it was a really fun trip. Did you ever play hockey? I played roller hockey my whole life, and I would play, mess around on the frozen ponds. Like, I didn't play like organized ice hockey. We just mess around in the ponds and still get out there once in a while when weather permits, when the things around here freeze. Stay ace to before ski and after ski. I think I would get injured. It looks very scary. Banff is close. Yeah, I've seen photos and stuff of Banff. Looks beautiful. Devils Hall, Atlanta could be added to the list if they get a team. They have a concert in Calgary this summer. I think it's like a festival. Well, is that like the country thing? I think a bunch of players went to that, if I'm not mistaken. Atlanta or Houston, maybe Quebec, are next to get a team almost guaranteed. I would agree that those, in no particular order, from the amount of chatter, those would be the three most favored, I think. I'm going on the Cali trip this year. Let me see. When is that? Is that February? Well, they play. Oh, the Cali trip is in a few weeks. So this Cali trip is Anaheim. Oh wow! So they swapped out for the tail end is the Kraken instead of Vegas. Yeah. So this one is Ducks, Kings, Sharks. Oh man, I think geographically that's kind of a mess. I rented a car and drove a lot of it, so I think, if I'm not mistaken, this would be backtracking. I don't have to look at a map now. Now I'm curious. And the Kraken. It was a fun trip, even though they sucked. I saw Mercer and Kovacevic on the gondola when I was in Banff when I saw the Devils play in Calgary and Edmonton. Nice. And of course, I'll be going to Philly both times. My boy saw the entire Devils team in Tampa with his daughters. He said Jack was super nice, came over, took pics with his kids. Really cool. Always like to hear stories like that. Cali is nice to visit. Don't recommend living there, though. I would never live there. I got stories for days for the past couple times I went to Cali. My aunt used to live in Pittsburgh, went out to see Pens versus Devils at the old Igloo. Pens fans were pretty chill, but if I recall, the Devils lost. Danny Sanborn was in net for the Pens. Throwback. Devils fans must visit Detroit and Dallas, but must stay away from LA and Colorado. I saw a game at Staples. I saw Devils play the Kings. I think I saw them play the Avalanche years and years ago in Colorado. I had a friend that went to college out there. I think the Nordiques are coming back. It was this year when they were in Florida. I'm always a great New Yorker ever since birth, but I'm definitely still a huge Great Devils fan. I definitely would invite the club to my home in the future and do a dance party. Jack, I'm headed to Toronto on the 16th of January for Devils vs. Leafs round 3. Return of Keefe will be good. I'm going to the Hockey Hall of Fame too. Looking forward to it. It'll be my first time north of the border. Nice, man. Enjoy it. I've been to the Hockey Hall of Fame a few times in my life. The most recent time I was there for the great Martin Brodeur's induction. They always change the displays and stuff, so you'll definitely have a great time going to the Hall of Fame, and it is fun, watching the Devils in their building. You'll definitely enjoy it. Pack your layers because you're going to freeze your sack off. I love Cali. You don't like it, Ace? No, I don't like it. I like some of the geographical elements and things. One of my favorite places I've ever been in my life was absolutely beautiful. It was called Big Sur. It's like the cliffy mountain area. With the beautiful water underneath, Big Sur. So I did see that. I drove it twice, and you're on like super windy roads. It's kind of scary. You're high up. But I thought Big Sur in Cali was really cool. I've been to LA a few times. It's kind of taken over by homeless people. I mean, I guess that's a lot of big cities, but I feel like there's just homeless people all over California. But and what's the other place? My mind just went blank. Oh, Laguna Beach. Absolutely beautiful beaches. I don't care for the people, but Laguna Beach, the beaches there were phenomenal. Really cool. I had a great time. I was in Laguna Beach for a couple of days. I visited Santa Monica. I mean, I've pretty much been all over California. I like to visit it once in a while, but overall, it's, I would never live there. I'd like to see the new Detroit Arena, although I saw the Joe. I've been to a game at the Joe back in the day. What year did that close down, actually? '17. Still haven't left the country and I'm almost 30. You got plenty of time, Cyril. Aaron, ace for the Cali trip. There's a train you could jump on that takes you to all three cities. Super easy travel. Pacific Surfliner for the win. Interesting. I do hate public transportation with a passion, though. I rented a car for so cheap and it was awesome because I was just going all over and like randomly looking up shit I wanted. Like some of the best tacos I ever had outside of Mexico. We're in, I want to say it was Santa Cruz. I forget. I was trying tacos all over the place in California. Amazing tacos. Jason, of course, Martin Brodeur, Ken Danico, and Scott Stevens are definitely in the Hall of Fame. I'm definitely really proud. Well, Danico's not. The other two are. Liam, so hyped on the win tonight. Is it me or is Rachel finally loosening up, much less stuttering today? You guys are brutal. I said it was going to take time, man. She's nervous. She went from, look at the reel, bro. She was doing local high school shit. Like she jumped from the minor leagues, like to the pros, like bang. And props to her. What a come up. She skipped a lot of in-between steps that a lot of other people have to take, went right to the pros, and I figured it was just going to take her some time. She's still not quite fully there yet, but she's getting smoother as time goes on. I think she's just very nervous, and I get it. I mean, a lot of people would be. San Diego is one of my favorite cities in the country. I've never made it to San Diego yet. Gavin Newsom is accountable, I swear. The vibes he gives off are so creepy. There is something weird about him. San Diego's beautiful. The weather's sick. Not to get political, nothing to do with his politics. The guy just has a cannibal face. He does look weird. He looks like a villain of a TV show or a miniseries or a movie. Tacos would slap right now. Oh, man, they would. Rich Reynolds, I'm out in Colorado and going snowboarding tomorrow at Winter Park, coming home to NJ for Christmas and going to the game on the 21st versus the Pens. Nice. Yeah, snowboarding wasn't for me. I think I absolutely need independent leg control to have any chance of not killing myself. I went snowboarding. It was my sophomore year of college. We were all drunk one night, and one of my housemates was like, "You would really like snowboarding, man." I was like, "I don't know, man." He's like, "It's so easy. We should just leave tomorrow morning and go." And we went to Mount Snow in Vermont, and I'll never forget it. Drove there. I had a friend from high school who was also in that area at the time. Met up with her. And I was on the bunny trail in a snowboard, and I got my ass handed to me. Face caught the edge, face planted, fell down a bunch of times. I think the longest I was ever to stay upright for was maybe like 7 to 8 seconds before wiping out. And I did not like having independent leg control. Having both your legs locked in with this big ass board felt very uncomfortable. I was in a lot of pain. I was sore for a very long time. I had a scab, disgusting eye because I face planted and scraped it on ice. And we went to some house party that night, and I got super lit. I think me and my one buddy finished like a handle of SoCo. That was in my SoCo and lime era, and it was numbing the pain because my whole body felt like I got hit with baseball bats. Jack, what has stopped the Devils from winning 4 in a row the last couple of years? We had a bunch of chances, including 2 separate instances of playing the Sharks at home after winning 3 straight. It's just one of those things, man. I don't have the answer. It's just for whatever reason that 4th game is the elusive one. This time around, Mac Black had a pretty strong outing. Don't forget that during 2 consecutive playoff seasons in 2000 and 2001, we've done away with the Leafs. I'm definitely proud of that, especially in Game 7 of the East semis at home. Yeah, for sure. And I think that's why that guy, Steve Dangle, is really bitter and hates the Devils. I believe it comes from the great Martin Brodeur's just complete and utter dominance over the Leafs. They had some decent teams those years where they had, Sundin and Tucker. They had some good teams, and they just couldn't get past the Devils with Cujo and net. Searle, at Jack, if you exclude the 16 or whatever game winning streak in 22-23, the rest of that season was barely above 500. Oh, man, this was a marathon, boys. This was a freaking marathon. What a win. This is where I'm going to do my bathroom break and then start to wrap up when I come back. But I'm fired up. The night flew. Appreciate you being here. I'm going to go take a leak. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Throw out any closing comments, thoughts, or whatever, and I'll slowly chip away at those. Usually you guys have had some funny shit. After I come back from my little bathroom break, I've come back to some pretty funny stuff. But I'll be back in 2 minutes, and we'll slowly but surely wind this thing down. Be right back. 2-minute bathroom break. I wanted a water, and I ran out. No more waters down here. Colorado traded for the 2 Woods and goals insurance in case they play the Devils in the final. Oh, boy. Wouldn't that be an evil, kind of unfair plot line? I do think eventually Mackenzie Blackwood is going to be a good goalie, and it's unfortunate it didn't pan out for him here. Me and one of my buddies had a text thread. It was me, my buddy, and his brother. And his brother dogged on Blackwood for years. And we were like, man, are you even watching the games? Like, on bad teams, there were stretches where he looked like the man. Like, Blackwood would just, even in some losses, he played tremendous. And then he had some wins, including some shutouts. And we'd be like, he's just inconsistent. Eventually, he's going to get it because he was young at the time. And we both held out hope that he was going to be the guy. And it just, after that last season before we traded him, I was like, I give up on him now. I finally waved the flag. I was like, he might be good somewhere else, but he was getting injured a lot, and it was just a lot of shit. And I was like, I'm done with it, the project. But I do think he's going to be a solid goalie. And now that he got out of San Jose and got himself in a way better situation in Colorado, I think he could become the goalie that we were all hoping for. And he's just going to be it for somebody else. He's still, how old is he now? He's still young. Yeah, he's 28. I mean, yeah, he's not that young. I thought he was a little bit younger, but still. He could be now finally entering his prime. Brian McCabe is my second cousin, and Jake McCabe is my first cousin. Nice. I remember Brian McCabe on the Islanders back in the day. Random, but the Winter Classic will have an ASL broadcast with no verbal commentary. What? What the hell is that? Is that real? I'm scanning an article about this. Yeah, but they're going to have a regular broadcast too. They're going to have a regular broadcast too, I believe. It didn't seem like that was the only thing. Yeah. Rich Reynolds, I went to Mount Snow on a high school trip. I learned at Mountain Creek in Vernon. It's definitely not easy. No, definitely not. And I think I wish I tried one more time, but it was so painful. I've dabbled with the idea of trying skiing, but I feel like, can you teach an old dog new tricks? Can I possibly be okay at skiing and trying it for the first time at age 40? I mean, wow. That's pretty wild. Rich, I can't believe Wood, Blackwood, and Wedgwood are all in the Avs. Yeah, they got all the Devils Wood in Colorado there. I support the ASL broadcast. More sports leagues need to have that. They should. I mean, why not, right? I guess it probably comes down to money, unless these people are volunteering, but they have to pay an additional person. All these leagues are super tight with the money. Searle, there'll be a broadcast of verbal commentary as well, of course. But yeah, it's true. I saw in the Hockey Guys news video earlier. Hockey Guys new video earlier. Shout out to Shannon, the hockey guy. What a beast. I don't know how he does it. Making videos about every team. Crazy. I think they should have both ASL and verbal broadcast. I think that is what's happening. Razor blade popsicles. Snowboarding is better than skiing. I've only tried snowboarding once, and it was a super painful experience, to say the least. Super, super painful. My whole body. I was never so sore in my life. I literally felt I walked around with a limp for probably like a good 3-4 days, and I had a nasty scab. It was like, Mike Tyson's tattoo. It was like this whole like side of my face for probably like 2 weeks. It was terrible. Does Laviolette look like Francesa or it's me? That's pretty funny. A little resemblance. I wouldn't mistake them for each other, but there's definitely a small resemblance there for sure. Let me just see something. Yeah, another marathon, guys, but a massive win for our New Jersey Devils. Digging oh so deep, headed into the third period, tied after another goalie, looking like he was going to be unstoppable tonight. But they found a way. They found a way to win. Who are the biggest three threats in each conference? Wow, 3. If I had to pick 3 in the East, I would probably say in the East, I'm going to go in no particular order. 3 biggest threats in the East. I have to go Canes, Caps, and Panthers in the East. There's still other threats as well, but if I had to pick the 3 biggest, in no particular order, Canes, Caps, and Panthers. And in the West, it'd be Jets and the Wild. Jets. The West has a ton too, but top 3, I'm going to go Jets, Wild. Yeah, and then you have, for that third spot, it would be either the Golden Knights, Avalanche, or Stars. I mean, that's a hard one for me to pick a third one. The West has got some teams, man. Yeah, Jets are killing it. Stars are very good. The Wild are finally playing to their what they were trying for years after Billy Guerin had to come in there and kind of tear the whole thing down and rebuild it. He's done an excellent job. The West is hard. Yeah, Jets, Wild, and then either Stars, Avs, Knights. The Oilers, maybe. I'm not as scared of them as some of the other teams, but obviously the Oilers are a threat as well. I definitely remember Peter Laviolette and Barry Melrose. Good night, Searle. Jason, Rangers, Caps, and Panthers are the three annoying creeps. Definitely more afraid of the Caps and Canes versus the Rangers. Yeah, the Oilers are dangerous. Kings, Canucks, and Avs are annoying creeps in the West. There's a lot of good teams in this league, guys. It's never going to be easy. But all right, that's it. We officially hit the 3-hour mark. My God, another marathon with the running with the Devils faithful here. Appreciate you all for coming out after this glorious win. Your New Jersey Devils in the fourth game of a 5-game homestand. Dig deep. Beat the Los Angeles Kings by a score of 3-1. Jackie Boy with his 8th 3-point game on the season. You'd love to see it, and we need to close this thing out. Close it out big with a big win on Saturday at home against the Blackhawks. I'll be back soon. Always there's things in the works. Things are coming out. Things are going. And, hopefully we edge this thing out on Saturday and finish up with a beautiful win that gives us points 6 and 7 out of a possible 10. 700 hockey was my goal and my prediction for the 5-game homestand. Should the Devils take care of business and take out the Hawks on Saturday, we will land right on that 7-point mark, and I would be ecstatic. Ecstatic. Good night to all of you. What a night. Jacked up. Beautiful win for the Devils. And that's it. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.